God's Case Files channel. We're doing our session 2 of Blades in the Dark, Cult of Tides. So I figure just get right into it. To kick us off with introducing our cast of characters. This over here is Neo Cree.
Hello.
Happy to be here. Then we have Dr. Oculari right up here. He says hi. Then we have Cassie Mouse right over here.
Yep. Hello.
Hello, and we will all be victorious. And then we have Steve.
Hello.
That just always kills me. Yeah, the very, very complex handles, and then Steve. I said. But anyway, so welcome to session 2. So let's just get into it. When we left you guys, we were working through downtime. We had done heat, and we had done entanglements and payoff. So the next thing we wanted to get to is the other, basically actual downtime activities, of which you each have 2 of them. So again, it's, as this is, I treat this as kind of a learning tool for people watching. We have several things you can do for downtime that cost you a downtime action. So you can acquire an asset, do a long-term project, recover, heal, reduce your heat, train, or indulge your vice. Okay, so you can of those things you can do 2 of them during this downtime. Things outside of that, it comes under free play, and we can work with that. But likely we'll kind of head to the next score very soon. So let's see. So I did some talking to my cast of characters, and those who joined in had some awesome ideas. So I figure you guys cool doing like the round robin downtime stuff? Each do 1 downtime and go around a circle.
And
Cool.
I don't know if this is a separate step or not, but I don't think we actually went through the experience points.
Experience, yes. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that. Yeah, that'll come
That's a
after
separate
this.
one. Okay.
I just want to just finish this off, and then XP will be last.
Sounds good.
And then after that, you can figure out what you need to train up. But I have not forgotten that. So since I know Steve has prepared, at least has an idea of what's going on with his 2 downtime actions, what do you want to do for one of them?
So I'll do my more complex one first, which is I want to start a long-term project. Basically, I want to find a ghost of a higher-ranking cult member that may have passed.
Nice.
And I figure that will require some research, and eventually I want to make this ghost a contact, but I assume that'll be 2 separate projects.
That remains to be seen. We'll see how you do it.
On you, but
Yeah, no, I totally get you. All right,
since I don't know one, I assume it's going to take some, research and working around.
Yep. So I'm going to put that on your sheet.
Okay.
I think that sounds like for long-term projects, 8 slices or 8 ticks is kind of the standard. I think that sounds standard to me. Would you agree?
Sure, 6 or 8. I don't
Let's see.
care.
All right, let's do 6. That's
maybe 6 for identifying, and depending on what I identify, we can determine if it's a 6 or 8 to make him a contact.
Sure. Well, let's start with that. So let's see. Find cult spirit. Awesome. All right, that's now o'clock. Why don't you let's make a roll. Let's see here. I'll hold tight. Do long-term project. Let's see here. So I suppose study is actually. I suppose I ask you, what do you want? How do you want to do this? How do you want to research this? You want to tune, study, any number of fun things.
It could be one that I vary based upon what I'm doing. I think initially I want to probably study some of the materials we do have.
Sure.
But also reach out to Hutchins, since he knew this book dealer that we were dealing with previously, and see if he has anything as well. Basically,
Sure.
study with his assistance.
Gotcha. All right. Why don't you roll your
And then I
study?
think once I have a lead, maybe I'll then, switch over to, consorting with people and whatnot.
Sure, but just to clarify, you do want to start out with study, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, let's start out with that. Once you get to consort, we'll kind of look at adding his like a help bonus from him.
Okay.
But I think this should be just a straight study, probably.
And is this just a fortune roll or what is it?
For this you can just
I
roll
don't know how this works.
yeah, no, for this just roll study.
Okay.
Plain old fashioned study.
And if I recall, you can use money to either increase effect or something.
Let's see. So let me read the basics on the long-term project. When you
Sure.
work a long-term project, either brand new and already existing, describe what your character does to advance the clock, which we've established, and roll one of your actions. So it's an action, not a fortune roll in this case, generally. And mark segments on the clock according to the result. So this one doesn't specifically talk about using coin to advance it. Whereas it does in like acquiring an asset or crafting and that kind of thing. So I don't think you can do spend extra coin to advance the clock, so to speak.
Okay. So it's
In this
more
case.
in the acquire asset.
Right,
fine.
right. And we could all, I mean, again, this is depending on how you want to do this, we could actually even call this an acquire asset. You're trying to acquire him. Your end goal here is to acquire him as a
Yeah, but I
as a
thought
contact.
assets were temporary.
That is true, and I suppose we can do it like this because that would make sense because we basically want to let's do long term project to discover,
For
and we can always
for a permanent
yeah
addition.
we can build that into a permanent from
Okay.
there. So okay, let's do it this way.
Yeah, and just looking at page 153, like fifth paragraph or sixth paragraph. If I have a friend or contact, I do get +1 die, which we're not using Hutchins yet.
Oh, okay. You may spend coin to improve the result.
After the roll, I can spend coin to improve the result.
I see. Yeah, you're totally right. Cool.
So
awesome.
I thought I remembered reading it. So let's roll my fortune die or my study die. And we'll just leave it at whatever effect at the moment. And that's
Cool.
a 2. So
let's see here. So that will be
one segment.
One segment. We'll check that on your clock.
Did
you want to
spend 1 coin just to make it 2 segments?
Okay.
To increase the effect.
All right. I marked your clock. 2 out of 6.
Thank you, sir.
And if you want to, I'll let you take care of the money. I trust you on that. Just do your thing.
I will do that.
All right. Awesome. So
we had 1 coin each, correct?
1 coin. Yeah. 1 coin each from the job.
Payoff.
Yeah, from the payoff. And just for some flavor, like what does it look like to everybody else as you're doing this? Just briefly.
It is me both going through the book and talking to our cult members, our 2 acolytes. Because again, they've dealt with a little more than we have. Not by much, but they are the ones that can be contacted by our I don't know, I guess
your
mentor,
patron.
So it's studying the book, talking with them, finding out have they heard any other voices, has anyone else tried to contact them?
Cool.
Basically just learning more about my own religion. So for the effectively reading the Bible.
Gotcha. Cool. Very cool. All right. Let's go next one. Let's go to Cassie. How about Cassie? What do you want to do for your first downtime activity?
All right. Well, the first thing I think she's going to do is indulge her vice.
Nice.
She goes to the Silver Stag Casino, which is in Silk Shore near their base.
Ooh, nice.
The proprietress is a elegant and mysterious Severosi woman. She's like this impressive matriarch. It's said that if the Empire hadn't conquered Severos, she would have been their queen. And Junker's been going there since she was in school at the Sparkrite Tower. And I feel like the matriarch kind of dotes on her a little bit. She comes
Oh,
in there, spends a little bit of money, does some gambling, has some rich food, maybe goes to the private rooms for a little bit of relaxation, and just spends time there like winding down and relaxing.
cool. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and which is awesome, by the way. Nice description. I think, let's see. So if we look on your sheet, there should be an indulge vice button. I'm gonna find it.
Yep, I got it.
Oh, long as you got it, go ahead and let's indulge your vice. See how you do.
Yeah, so it's no bonus dice.
Correct. 3. Currently has 5 stress. All right, so you got rid of 3 stress. So go ahead and mark that off.
All right.
Good job. You have relaxed yourself with little games of chance and hanging out with Severosi people, which, let's face it, who wouldn't that relax, you know? Cool. Let's see. So let's go on to Doctor. How about you? What's your first downtime activity?
It would be indulging my vice.
Nice.
Now, again, being kind of new to this, I'm, pulling this stuff out of my butt.
that's the best way to do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I had initially selected weird, which I think still works. And according to the book, one of the vice purveyors under weird is the hooded proprietor of a half-flooded grotto tavern near the docks. Strange passageways lead to stranger chambers beyond.
Ooh, I like that.
And so I can just make up what that might be, right?
Yeah, that's your creation. What they put there is just inspiration.
All right.
Please indulge yourself.
All right. So basically, what I do to de-stress is I go there. There's a particular, I don't know quite, I haven't quite formulated what it is, but there is something, some incense like something that I can get there, breathe deep of, and it creates part of my character is that I can hold my breath for a long time. Creates the illusion that I can hold my breath much longer than I can. Essentially, makes time seem longer than it really is.
Yeah, it's like a time dilator.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, but there's something about it that it only works under certain specific situations, and for me, that situation is diving underwater and feeling as though I have been down there for a half an hour. For example, when it was probably only 4 or 5 minutes. So basically, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to go to this place, get my hands on this obscure incense, and dive into this grotto and through a hole or something there, down basically to the bottom of the harbor.
Nice. That's pretty. That is. I think that qualifies as weird. Is everybody else on board with weird on that? I am.
Yep.
Yep. Seen somewhere
Oh,
between
no.
like waterboarding and David Carradine. So.
There you go. If it's not something that you'd feel comfortable doing at home, it probably comes
weird.
under weird. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, okay, the indulge vice button is right next to to the right of vice purveyor. I found that.
Okay.
So go ahead and go ahead and click it.
Okay.
No bonus dice.
Bonus dice. Just
0.
say 0 then? Is that
Yep.
it? Okay.
All right. All right. So let's see. So
you got.
Yep. So you've gotten rid of 3 of your stress. When you come up, you take that breath.
Yeah.
And it's like just the feeling of, stress, the concern of the world melts away at least a bit. So you're back. You're down to 3. So go ahead and mark off 3 your stress. Take away 3 of those red bars.
I mark it. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Excellent. Good job.
Okay. I think
Cool.
I got it. Yeah. All right.
Excellent. All right, let's go to Neo.
For my first downtime, I will be training.
Nice. Cool.
I'll
What are
be
you going to
training
train?
Resolve.
Resolve. Excellent. All right. Put a tick into resolve.
2 ticks.
Oh, is
Because
that
of our
because of
crew.
our? Yep. Perfect. Do it. All right. So what? How do you do that? What does it look like to everybody else? In 25 words or less.
I'd say he's actually going to be going into the grotto, and where it's like icy cold water, and just submerging himself and just staying in like perfectly still up to his neck, and just staying in that pose as long as he can, and continuously doing that, training his will to not move, not fidget, and to resist the discomfort.
Cool. Awesome. Perfect. All right. That's an excellent train. So let's go back around. Just for kicks. Actually, yeah, let's go back around. Give everybody who is thinking about it a chance. So let's go to Steve. What's your second?
So my second, I think.
I'm sorry, Peacock. I've been trying to call you guys by
Yeah,
your
looking
name names.
looking back at my first, I maybe could have used the acolytes as experts, but we'll do that next time.
Yeah.
So the second, I just want to do some personal training.
Nice.
Towards my playbook advancements. So I really don't know how to narrate that so much as that's just like personal growth.
Sure. You probably get out
'Cause
there.
I don't even know which advancement I want yet. So
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I mean, as a slide, you just get out there and do what you do. Kind of be
probably
seen by people.
talk with people, trying to make keep my old connections alive.
Yep. Exactly.
Even though I'm poor and a criminal.
Exactly. Cool. Awesome. So let's see. Where's that marked on here? Playbook advancement. Alrighty. Alrighty. Now,
and we'll look at the numbers later. I made some assumptions on the XP, so.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
We'll cover that though.
Excellent. Okay. Cool. All right, Cassie. What's your second downtime?
Okay. For that, I want to start
Junker.
designing a new item, a new gadget.
Okay.
Basically, want to make like a shock glove. Like I can just grab somebody and shock them and knock them out.
Oh, neat. All right. Give me a quick look at the crafting part here. Give me a moment. Let's see y'all. Crafting. All right. So let's figure out what tier this would be. I think. So you're inventing. So let's go through the process. So step 1, GM asks, what type of creation is it and what does it do? Which you've already told me. There's shock gloves. It shocks people into submission, and I'm assuming because you're an artificer, if I recall. So it's an artifice sparkcraft type of thing.
Yeah, it's a sparkcraft artificer item.
Yep. And then player asks, what is the minimum quality level of this item? Good question. Let's look at the sample gadgets to get an idea. I would say that sounds like a 3 or 4 tier. What do you think? From the kind of looking at the other stuff that is at that tier and the sample items and formula part.
Let me see.
I think 3 sounds reasonable.
Yeah, 3 would probably be reasonable.
Okay. What is rare, strange, or an adverse aspect about this design? Let's see. Now, what rare, strange, or adverse aspect of this formula or design has kept it in obscurity, out of common usage?
Hmm. Well, I imagine that it probably uses or like a rare ghost essence. Um, I think that with a tune, you can basically like capture ghosts and then render them down into these weird ghost essences that you can use to provide fuel for like weird machines. So I think that's basically that's how it works. Is in order to power it, you'd basically have to capture a ghost and render it down into a spirit essence that she can use to fuel the device.
Cool. All right, so we'll call that. So the drawback, which is the next part, is consumable. Limited number of uses. What do you think? What do you think is a good number of use for killing one ghost or destroying one ghost and rendering it down?
I'd imagine it'd be like maybe one per tier of the ghost or something.
Gotcha. Sounds cool. Works for me. So yeah, so we can figure out how that works when the time comes. But that sounds like a good invention. So let's go ahead.
Arguably, you could kind of make it like ammo, where part of like a risky maneuver or a desperate action would be that it could run out of charges.
Yeah, that's probably something. That's probably reasonable.
But yeah, you guys can research that.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when we
Yeah,
get there. But for the
I
moment,
should.
you already established like what it costs to power it in the first place. So that's a good start.
Okay. Um, so I roll study, and to help me, I want
Uh,
to use
see.
my.
Is it study or tinker?
It says in the book study.
What does it?
Yeah, inventing. Right under the inventing.
Mhm. Oh! I see. It's the inventing part. It's not the actual creation part. We're not in the crafting part yet. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Yeah, sounds good. Roll study.
And to assist me, I want to go to one of my clever friends, Veldrin, the Psychonaut.
Ooh, neat.
This guy is basically, imagine a brilliant engineer that took a few too many drugs and never came back down.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds pretty
So
cool.
so he's a bit on the nutty side.
No, crazy.
But he's still a brilliant engineer. So she goes to him and he helps her work out how to do it.
Nice. All right, Chucker, go ahead and make your roll. So study plus 1 die.
Okay. There's no consequences, so it's just a fortune roll.
I will roll your study. It for all intents and purposes, yes. I'm not going to be. There's not a
Okay, I'll just put
potential
risky
negative.
standard then. And one bonus die.
Okay. So let's see. So 5. Let's see here. Let's see. And that gives us, let's see, 5 gives us, how many ticks does that give us? Check that.
I think for a partial success is 2 slices.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Done. I'm started an 8 tier clock for that. And
I
you're
put
2.
invent
You're 2.
shock gloves.
What's that?
I made it invent shock gloves.
Oh, sure. Works for me. Cool. All right. On to the next. Doctor, what's your second?
I think. Let me look at my sheet here. If I think training sounds good.
Okay. What are you
Also,
going to be training
if
your
if if I'm understanding this correctly, I was it would be under resolve, then do I pick like a tune?
No,
Or
so
just
you're basically you can train resolve, and then
okay.
once you complete all those ticks, you then get to put a point into one of the things under resolve.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Conversely, if you want a special ability for your playbook, like you have
Uh-huh.
infiltrator right now,
Yeah.
you can put XP towards your playbook. So just a matter of what you want.
Okay.
So what are you training?
Well, I don't understand what putting XP toward my playbook means. So,
All right.
um,
So like if you scroll down to playbook, you see like mark XP, mark experience on your character sheet.
yes.
Okay. To the right, you see playbook
Yeah, Playboy
advancement,
advancement.
and then you
Okay,
see
yeah.
the ticks. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Was it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? So once you basically, if you want it, let's just say for purposes of getting you familiar, that you're gonna do a playbook advancement. So you say you're training, so you put one tick in there. You tick off one.
Hmm.
So as we go along, you can, depending on what you're doing, you can choose to advance your playbook or advance an action.
Oh, so I can put training in either of those places,
Yes,
like in Resolve, for example, or in Playbook advancement.
right, or um, prowess or insight. So each training gets you one tick on one of those advancements.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So what did you want to advance?
Yeah. Let's stick with Resolve.
What's that? Oh, resolve.
I'll stick with Resolve. Yeah.
Okay. Put a tick in resolve. And
And we
what
get
is that?
2 ticks
Oh, yeah,
for
2 ticks
resolve.
because of our, yeah, because of our the cult.
Oh,
Yep.
2 ticks?
Yep.
Okay.
Normally one, but yeah, you guys had the special resolve training. So good job.
Oh, all right.
All right. So what does that look
So,
like to you when you're training resolve 25 words or less?
what? What?
So
Wait.
you're training resolve. Tell me what that looks like to everyone around you, briefly.
Uh, uh, it, I'm standing in the middle of the room making strange motions with my arms. Actually, it sort of almost looks like a kind of an odd dance because I'm looking at if this is what I'm supposed to be thinking about. I mean, I'm looking at a tune, although obviously I'm not taking that off, which says attuned to spirits and the ghost field. So I'm practicing this kind of attunement.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Sure. That works.
Because
I'll take it.
'cause I'm kind of really annoyed at that ghost that stressed me last time.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Neokri, what's your second?
So I have to think about long-term plans. I think for now I'll just do some more training, this time in my playbook advancement.
Perfect. Up a tick on. Excellent. Cool. All right. Then let's see here. So we have that done. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So we did downtime activities. Let's do. Last thing I want to do is XP. So basically, this is. If you look at, let's see, bring up somebody's playbook. Let's see. Actually, let me find the thing real quick. Come on. So let's see here. So let's start with Adrian Cross. You're a cutter. So let's look at cutters real quick. All right. So when you play a cutter, you earn XP when you address a challenge with violence or coercion. So would you say you did that last session?
Would my definitely not violence? Would helping what was his name? Would helping Ramira with as playing the part of the bodyguard, would that count as coercion? I
You
don't
tell
know.
me. It's kind of on the player to choose what XP they're earning. Basically, do you think that was enough coercion to earn you an XP?
Dang, I'm not sure. What do you all think?
I wasn't sure if you ever needed to really flex your intimidation muscles
Yeah.
with him. I mean, that was definitely the role you were playing, though. You know, you were there as the backup to flex, but we weren't trying to threaten him. We were trying to like get him to respect me. So you were more of like presenting a, you know, commanding, but like, you know, I'm this guy, you know, guy's bodyguard figure, as opposed to, you know, do what we want, you know, what we want you to
Yeah.
do.
I wouldn't. I'd say no, honestly.
Okay. All right. So let's go to. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Hunted him, but I wouldn't say that's.
Now, beliefs, of course, you're a cult member. Did you act in accordance with your god?
Let's see. I'd say I did.
Okay.
The tides were placid this time. Perhaps
Okay.
next time they will not be.
Okay. So again, for all these, it's like you get one if you just did it once, or two if you felt like you did this thing more than the one time. You know, it's something to earn the two.
Mm.
Do you think you did enough to get two, or get one XP right now?
Police drives, heritage, or background. He didn't interact too much on this mission, so I'd say just the one.
Okay. Let's see. You struggle with issues from your vice or traumas.
No.
Okay. All right. So for that last session, you got one XP. So mark it wherever you like. You know, advance whatever you like. Result. You know, an action or rather a resistance or playbook.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Good start. And again, so when we go into other sessions, just kind of think, hey, how can I get XP? That's okay. You're not. This is not. This is not gaming the system. This is the system wants you to do these things. So feel free to, you know, make sure you get XP because that's what the system wants of you. So excellent. You did a good job. Let's go to Doctor. Same questions. So doctor is a. I'm sorry, I keep meaning to use the terms. Fish is a lurk. So doctor or fish. I'm gonna get it, Tori. When
Fish.
yeah, when you earn. Let's see. So did you address a challenge with stealth or evasion?
Oh, I'm trying to remember what happened. I climbed the wall.
Yeah.
And then we searched for the book, and that annoying ghost messed with me. We found the book, right? Yeah, we came back with the book, but it was a counterfeit.
That's
I'm
understanding.
I'm just trying to put together what happened again.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, you addressed the challenge. I would say I addressed the challenge.
Yeah.
With stealth and or evasion, because we were, you know, not wanting to be discovered.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so do you get 1 or 2 XP for that? Did you just do it like once, and that was really the main part, or did you do it more than once?
It was like such a sort of like, you know, starter job that I just don't think that there was enough involved in it to rate more than 1 XP.
Okay,
Yeah,
1 XP.
I could see too. We snuck into the building and then we evaded the guard on the way out.
Oh, right. Thank you. I forgot about the guard. Okay, I'll take 2.
Okay, 2.
And so now I can tick those. Okay, what is the value of ticking playbook advancement?
So, all right. Yeah, so basically you'll be able to choose another one.
Another what?
Special
Another
ability.
special ability.
Once you fully fill it up, you have
Oh,
to
the special abilities up here. Okay, I see. I
yeah.
see.
Once you have the
Yeah,
all 8 ticks, you can choose another special
sure.
ability.
Okay. Uh, as from more experienced players, does it make more sense to stick with one thing or to split them?
Well, we do
Because
have 10
I've got two
sessions,
I've
so
got
if
two
you
I've
think you
got two
can,
ticks in resolve.
Mhm.
I could put 2 ticks in playbook and start to, build up another option there.
Sure, let's do that.
Why don't I do that? Yeah.
Okay. And again,
All right.
we're
Got
kind of
it.
adding up. We're kind of adding up XP. We're getting there. So kind of let's go through the process. All right. So you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. 1 or 2 XP for that, or
Are you
0.
asking me
Yep, we're still on you.
still? Oh,
Yeah, there's several parts
that's
here.
the
So
belief, size, heritage. I don't think that really came up.
yeah. Again, one of your beliefs is your following of the goddess. So if you feel that you did, you
I think Doc, you
Oh,
definitely did background with your contact.
oh yeah, yeah,
That
oh yeah, yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
I think that definitely qualifies for one.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'll keep splitting things up. I'll put another tick resolve.
Okay, and you don't have to tell us right away. That's not important. More important is adding up your points. Basically getting through the thing here. So okay, so how many
Okay.
XP was that? Was that 1?
That's yeah. 3 total now.
Okay.
Put 1 in
And
playbook.
did
Yeah.
you struggle with issues of your vice or traumas?
Well, trauma. I would have to have ticks in trauma to struggle with trauma, right?
Correct.
So I can't do that. And vice didn't come up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I might have
and
swum underwater to get somewhere, but no.
okay, so that's it. So what's it? So 3 XP for you total.
Yes.
Okay, so tick those off as you like.
Okay. Your tick.
All right. Just a sec. Adrian, Adrian, looking back at your sheet, it looks like you have 3 ticks under resolve. Did you mean to do 4? Or is my sheet just not updated to yours yet?
I think we only get the bonus one for the specifically of your training.
Oh, if you're training, gotcha. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, gotcha. And I'll look at that too. I just want to be sure that's the case. I believe you're right. Okay, cool. All right, next, Cassie. Cassie the leech. Cassie, or sorry, Cassie. Junker. Did you address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem?
Well, I used the line throw to grapple up into the window, and we climbed up through that.
Sure, yeah, definitely, and that was integral to this plan. So, yeah. Was that? Are you calling 1 or 2? Is that the only time you really did use your tinker type skills?
I think so.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So 1 there. Let's see. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Yeah. These are for the whole session, so could like the whole where I go to the casino and talk with the matriarch be part of it, or is it just like for the score?
I mean, it's the entire adventure up until this period.
Okay. Well, I would say like going to the casino and her relationship with the matriarch is
Okay.
definitely some of her background.
Okay. Cool. Or heritage, for that matter.
Heritage, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And struggled with issues from vices or traumas.
And
Probably not no real struggles that I saw.
not yet, no.
Okay. So is that, how many is that? Is that 2?
Yeah.
Right. Go for it. So tick your 2. And let's go to peacocks. All right. Let's see here. All right. Peacock is our slide. So did you address the challenge with deception or influence?
Yes, I did.
I would have to agree.
Convincing the guy to leave his apartment and come down and negotiate.
Right,
yeah.
which again was integral to the whole plan. So awesome. Are you taking 1 or 2 there?
Just 1.
Okay,
Again, we really only did 1 major scene. So
fair enough.
then,
Yep. Go
the
ahead.
next one, I'm also leveraging that for my background, since it was like, let's talk about this, like, the rich, well-to-do people that we are, or purport to be, anyways.
Fair.
And then I did not struggle with any issues of vice, so I just took 1 for each of those.
Okay, so 2 total.
Mhm.
All right, tick away, sir.
Ticked.
All right. So again, I know this is taking a bit longer than is normal, but this is our very first time. It's important that we kind of go through the steps and make sure you guys are getting comfortable with them. So now we've completed a cycle. So it's like we're, again, we took things a little slow. We did some extra, find information roles and stuff that we won't be doing as many in the future. And I think you guys are at least becoming more familiar with the rules, and so am I. Again, I'm absolutely, as you can tell, learning myself. So I make no illusions otherwise. So yeah, all right. So here we are. We finished 1 cycle, and let's start the next. So right now, everything outside of the cycle is free play. You're basically do whatever it is you need to do. I would definitely want to jump into stuff if you guys are on board with that.
Yeah, I think we can just jump right into the next score unless somebody wants to do some role play with another character.
No, it's fine with me. Let's go for it.
Excellent. Cool. All right. So let's see. Let me bring up my stuff real quick. All right, crew mode. All right. So you guys are kind of doing your thing. I'm assuming you guys have never really mentioned it. I do want to establish kind of right now you don't have a vice of worship that can come in the future, as if you advance the cult. And in fact, let's see. Actually, we need to look at advancing the cult. Let's just make this one quick. So marking XP for crew advancement.
Oh yeah, we need to do a crew advancement.
Right.
Yeah. So at the end of each session, for each item below, mark 1 XP, or instead mark 2 if the thing occurred multiple times. So I just want to go over this real fast so we can kind of move things along. But now we're going to get in a rhythm. So first one, advance the agenda of your deity or embody its precepts in action. 1, 0, 1, or 2. I'm feeling 1 on that one.
I'm feeling 1 on that. I think we advanced the precepts by getting rid of the heretical book, but it wasn't anything like stellar. Like it wasn't a coup for
Sure.
Shanas.
Okay. Contend with challenges above your current station.
No,
I
that guy
think
was.
so. I think he was at our station.
Gotcha. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one.
I don't think we really bolstered reputation. If anything, we kind of went counter to our reputation by being really stealthy.
Yeah, there is that. Okay. So how about express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew?
Yeah.
I think we
If we
did, because
continue,
wasn't it acquisition that we were really focused on
Cool.
for our crew?
I'm thinking about one for that then.
yeah, we
Yeah.
might develop a new reputation if we continue doing jobs like that, though.
Fair
True.
enough. Fair enough. And that's totally fine. Cool. All right. So we got 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 10.
Yeah,
Cool.
crew I think advances a little slower, but
Yeah, you guys are well on your way. And again, this is what the game wants you to do. So if you kind of use this as an kind of a benchmark for what you want to accomplish, make sure you tick the boxes. Again, that's not gaming the system. That's not being crunchy. That's not being I don't know what the RPG or term for that one is. But you're not doing that. You're
we
doing
just
what
need
the
to
game
think,
wants you to do.
what would Shnas do?
What would Shinas do? WWSD.
WWSD.
It's
Yeah, we're
I can
all
hand out the bracelets later.
awesome. All right. So where were we? All right. Jumping into the next part. Let's see here. All right. So yeah, one of the things I wanted to cover real quick. What you guys don't have worship as a vice yet, or whatever. But what do you guys do something together, like kind of some kind of morning prayer or something to kind of keep in this cult? Again, I want to kind of reinforce this is not just like a bunch of ruffians looking to make a buck. This is a cult. You're together because you're in this cult of Shinas, and that's what holds you together. That's what drives you forward. So give me just again, do you want to move things forward, but just to give me an idea of like what that thing might be like in the morning or something that you guys do to reinforce
I mean,
that.
just an idea I have would be, we probably have, a few times of the day where, we say prayers if we're able, depending on what we're doing. But it's probably, low tide, high tide, and when the moon is strongest.
Gotcha. Do you guys wash yourselves in the waters of the grotto?
That seems fitting. Either low or high tide or something. One of them is, an ablution, ablution of the limbs or something.
Gotcha. Okay, just wanted to kind of get a
I
feel.
think
And
you're Neo, you're on mute.
Dang it. I said we
he's like been talking for 5 minutes, and I didn't notice.
perfect.
Sorry.
That's fine. I'd say like a communal like prayer in the grotto makes sense to me in the water.
Cool. Works for me too. All right, cool. I just wanted to kind of get what was going on with
I
that.
think we should drink some of the water at high tide.
Ooh,
Essentially, bring the goddess into our own bodies.
sexy.
Yeah, Junker might opt out of that because she knows that water will mess you up.
Well, that's part
When you
of
look
it.
into the water, you see the stars and the void. Let's drink that.
Yeah.
Dang
That's cool.
Leviathans.
Yeah, think of it as like a communion type of thing. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So, and again, you guys, there is right now there is again you aren't on the same vice, so you guys very well might do your thing a little differently from each other. There's I think it's fair to say there's no like rule sheet that you guys have to follow for this kind of thing.
Right.
You're a freaking cult for
Yeah.
Christ's sake. No pun intended. But yeah, so cool. So let's say you guys are coming up from your morning thing, probably in the grotto, whatever. And you're met by Hutchins, and he is arguing with your 2 adepts. And he's very angry, and his clothes are torn up.
One
His
thing.
yes.
Our base is hidden. He
Oh
probably
yes.
does not know where we are.
Oh yes. I'm so sorry. Okay, I meant to. I actually had that in mind when I was dreaming this one up. All right. So let's say that the adepts. report back that, in fact, they're bloodied a little bit and reporting to you that Hutchins wanted to see you now whilst they were out and about doing whatever it is that they do. And basically they're reporting back to you that he was very, very upset and he was harmed and his clothes were ripped, etc.
So were they ambushed while the cult were there, or did Hutchins like beat him up because he got mad?
Hutchins beat him up because they wouldn't immediately take him to your lair.
Okay.
As best as Hutchins can beat someone up, these are adepts after all. These are the pencil neck geeks of the Blaze in the Dark world, for all intents and purposes. So yeah, basically they weren't gonna break the silence on your lair, and he kicked them around for their troubles.
Well, let's see what our calm bookman is so upset about.
Yeah,
For
so
his sake, it better be important.
so yeah, you guys they kind of direct you to a nearby like street cafe. You kind of get out there, and Hutchins makes no bones about the fact that he's waiting for you. He is not enjoying a morning meal, a repast of any kind. In fact, the servers are giving him a good distance, not just because of his again, he looks like he's been dragged behind a cart for a while, but also because he's just in a horrible disposition. And this is a guy who is generally very soft-spoken. His clothes are very expensive, and again, his manners are impeccable. And this is a side that is just foreign to you guys. And he's just incensed. He sees you guys closing, and he immediately stands up and walks towards you with this he has like a walking stick, walking cane, and he's just he's going to talk to you right freaking now. What do
Calm
you do?
yourself, man. And you've laid hands on her.
We're all there. We didn't just send one of us to talk to him, right? We're all four
Yeah,
of us there.
yeah.
I mean, I certainly went.
Cults generally tend to be group oriented, but yeah, you can certainly stay behind if you wanted to. I assume that you would just all go.
Yeah,
Okay.
Junker.
No, just wanted to check.
Junker turns to Adrian and says, "Perhaps we should invite Mr. Hutchins for a private conversation."
Indeed. He walks up to Hutchins. I think you should come with us. Let's talk about your issues elsewhere, more privately.
As Cross starts talking, he does that thing like you see in the shows where he turns like to this voice, and he's looking at you at chest level, and he has to look up to see you, which is he at first he was ready to give you a sock to the nose, and suddenly he's a little bit less violent. Sounds excellent. And he kind of gestures with his cane to lead on.
Do we just take him to like a park or something, or
If I would take him to
have
like an
something else in
abandoned
mind?
alley,
Okay.
somewhere's off the beaten path, overgrown.
Sure.
Probably near the canals.
Sure. This would be an area that is very familiar to fish. You guys probably take him to like this is like a storage area for gondolas. It's kind of off to the side where nobody's nobody's going to be tumbling over them, but it's not quite so secluded that anyone could like literally walk away with one and not be noticed. But it's definitely a place that nobody's paying attention to. That kind of thing as the gondoliers go about their work.
Well, they're probably essentially the gondolas are out. This is really a mostly empty boathouse, so to speak,
Right.
at this point. So it would it would be between shifts in a sense.
Cool. Yeah, that's where you are. And he takes a breath, like he's been wanting to get this out. He's been rehearsing what he's going to say in his head, and finally he's here, and he's like, anticlimactic. But he takes his deep breath to get his things out. So did you know that followers of Shanas were shaking down locals out in Crowsfoot?
What?
Where?
Yes, they have a blue inked forehead mark, like a swirl, like a whirlpool, and they're calling themselves followers of Shanas, and uh they're bravos trying to catch some money from local businesses. I on your behalves, I took offense and confronted the ruffians, and was met with rudeness. And he kind of gestures up and down. His fine, his silk and linen clothing is now reduced to tatters. He will be burning it when he gets home. His eye is bloodied. You can actually see like blood in the white of his eye. He burst a capillary in there. It looks like he may have had, like, you can see the remnants of like stuff he stuffed up his nose to keep it from bleeding out there. And he's just looking all kinds of scraped up and stuff. Like, they may have actually dragged him behind a cart at some point.
And where did he say this was?
Crow's Foot.
Nest.
Crow's
Crow's Foot. It's a bit north.
Yep.
It's like just north of Silk Shore.
Yeah, I just heard hook or book or something. I didn't
Oh.
hear the word.
Yep, Crow's Foot.
Yeah, Crowswood is definitely the worst part of the city. It's like where all the criminals are.
It's the crime district.
Like,
Let's see.
I've just been reading the great books, and that symbol isn't familiar.
Damn right it wasn't. It's like, he's like, he kind of leans in like conspirationally. Conspirationally. Leans in close to all of you, and he's like, I have great respect. Conspiratorially, thank you. I have great respect for your goddess, and I consider myself a close and personal friend of your group, and I took great offense. And look what happened to me because of it. They're not believers, they're just ruffians. Besmirching the name of the goddess.
Like, first this false book, now a false cult. Truly, Shanas must be rising if so many are looking to ride on her coattails.
Yes, the only thing that gave me pause, the only thing, was something I actually have read about. I wasn't sure that it had been discovered, but it isn't. They did carry an artifact of your goddess. It's the stone, and any one of you who's taken any time to read this knows the stone occurred in one part of the goddess's story where she basically, there was no sea in this one area, so she touched this flat stone, and it gushed forth the sea and created a small sea in an area. But yeah, so this is actually, this sounds like something very familiar. And they carried it, and they activated it, and it, right there on a table in an open market, it created water and began to flow. If I hadn't had my training and hadn't heard of this artifact before, I would have completely blown it off. But I think this is real. This is, in fact, I would be willing to say that they found this and decided to go all in on the goddess story, and this is where they've formed their crew around.
You guys can start to see, like, as this story goes on, Cross is just starting to radiate malice. Like he's because he's normally quite stoic. He's not very emotive, but you see just tightening and tightening of his face, and his hands. They are using a sacred relic of the goddess for parlor tricks.
There's like flowers wilting not too far away.
Yeah, Junker's just like looking off into the middle distance up and like, I wonder how it works. It's like we need to get it so we can figure it out.
We need to get it. Oh, we will get it. And we will teach these fools a lesson they will not soon forget if they survive it. He is displeased.
The quote, displeased.
Yes.
How do they activate it? I'm asking Hutchins. Is that his name?
Yeah, Hutchins, yeah. He's like, it's not described in the book. I'm the first to admit. However, they put just a few drops of water on it, and suddenly it gushed forward for a good minute.
Mm.
It was quite impressive, and he kind of points at Peacock. He's like, I have an eye for deception, and let me tell you, had this been some kind of parlor trick, I would have seen it. But this was real.
I certainly trust your abilities, Hutchins. And looking over at what's our gutter's name? Yes, Breaker. And Breaker has the right of it. They need to pay for their deceptions. Shanas is clear about those who are false prophets.
I want to know how they got it. Not that we can know right now. I want to know how they got it and how they're essentially thugs. How did they get their hands on this? Plus, understand how to activate it. There's something going on. Somebody's manipulating these thugs, is what I'm
Like, we have many ways to find that out.
F.
thinking.
Not all
tell
to require them to be alive.
They will tell me what we need to know.
Okay. So,
on the other hand, we could always try to convince them of the true worship and gain new allies, and also the stone in turn.
Ooh.
I will not I understand what you say, but these people have besmirched the name of the goddess for petty gains. They will be punished. He's there's a big punishment vibe going on with Breaker right now. It's a sore spot for him.
It's really subtle. I'm not sure
Yes,
it's coming across.
I'm not sure if you can tell.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, and I'm thinking that we need to get this artifact away. And as far as I'm concerned, punishment is almost a diversion. I think it's a cool idea, but it's really like a diversion that will let us steal the artifact away from.
It's a stepping stone.
Violence is always a stepping stone.
Yes. We will violence now. It will serve two. We will gain a relic, gain information, and gain vengeance.
Yes.
Send a message.
Frankly, if they're shaking down people,
so
we can gain payment.
Sort of in keeping, I think, as I understand this, do we want to like just grab this rough plan and go with it to move the action along?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I think we decide what kind of score we want, right?
Yeah. Do you want to do any gather information?
I think we could do like some quick ones just for the base, just literally go off the basic gather informations. How many of they are there? Who is the most dangerous? That kind of stuff. Just some really quick, simple information rules.
And where we're going to find them, especially where we're going to find them, and and who among them has the stone, or we'll just figure that out when we get there.
Sure. Now, again, in keeping with the spirit of the game, I say we, again, my thought is to limit find information to like 1 or 2 instances, and then just
Okay.
go in, and the rest is all flashbacks and load and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
Okay,
I'll
so let's.
I'll set out the information. I don't think I really have any particular assets to exploit for information.
Gotcha. And you can find them, hunt them, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure if you guys want to do like, again, we can do up to 2, 1 to 2, or 0 if you'd like. But yeah, figure out who's going along on what, and that'll allow like for potential assists for these roles.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like me and Fish could go along and just scout out their base, and maybe the other two could do like gather information or something like that.
Yeah, well, they both be considered
both,
like
yeah.
gather information type things.
Like
Yeah.
I plan on talking with my jailbird contact, who probably lives in somewhere like Crow's Foot if it's the worst place in the city.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So I mean, that sounds like a good division if you want to do that, and we'll find out a bit more about them.
Okay. Well, okay, me and Fish, we will go like sneak around their base and like watch them and try to figure out their patterns.
Well,
like
part of
how
it's going to
many
be
people
finding
there
them.
are.
You don't have a whole lot of information. You have
Well, maybe-
you have a basic neighborhood.
Maybe
Oh,
ours
yeah.
is done first.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
you
Let's
can do
let's do
yours
that.
first.
All right. So who's doing this part again?
Yeah, you find the joint and we'll case the.
That's cool.
So I was going to hobnob a bit with my jailbird contact, who is Harker.
Okay.
And I'm assuming Crow's Foot seems like a likely place for him to live. And, talk with him about this, Bravo gang, if they're shaking down people. See if he knows where they hole up.
Cool. Alrighty. So yeah, do you want to bring anyone around for an assist?
I mean, I'm more than willing to take Breaker with me. If we learn anything about him, you might be able to.
Will your friend be impressed by some extra muscle or be intimidated by it? Or?
I mean, he was in prison, so I don't think he's going to be necessarily intimidated by it.
Okay, and you don't have to bring anybody along for if he actually can't be an assist.
I don't need to bring you. So
okay, that hurts him a little bit, but
yeah. I think Breaker would probably want to put his efforts to surveying location once it's found, because he can put his military knowledge into that.
Okay. So let's say you're along together.
Maybe you end up going with
Okay. Yeah.
the other two.
Nice. Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. So why don't you make a consort? Or actually, again, I keep wanting to tell you what to do, but you have to tell me what.
Yeah, I was thinking consort.
Okay.
What's the I guess position?
This is going to be standard. Actually, I mean, this is your buddy. Again, you're not. I have a problem saying this is going to be even risky at all.
So controlled.
Yeah, so let's call it controlled standard. He's a jailbird. He's probably been in and out. He's may or may not be connected. So let's call it controlled standard. This is not a.
So I'm going to take the 1 dice for dealing with a friendly contact.
Please do. Okay, 5. Nice. So he's like, yeah, you know what? In our, how do you consort with him? Do you basically offer, buy him a couple drinks, get him loaded a bit?
He's definitely one who likes to gamble. so I have a deck of cards, and we're just playing cards, and kind of low stakes stuff, but definitely drinking money.
Gotcha.
Is
Cool.
going to come out of this.
All right, and you're probably losing on purpose
He's
a
one
little.
that more likes the dice games, the card games.
And you're probably losing a little bit just to get
Of course.
get on his good side. Cool. Yeah. All right.
I'm
So
not
yeah,
particularly good, so I'm losing anyways. But I throw a hand or two his way.
Cool. All right, and you're basically looking like where is it? Tell me a bit about them, type of thing, right?
Yeah. Where is it, and are they serious players? Do they have heavy weapons? That sort of thing. Like whatever I can.
Gotcha.
Whatever
Right.
he sort of knows offhand is the gossip.
Yeah. So let's start. It's basically like yeah. So yeah, I've seen them around. I didn't hear any names being tossed around as to who they supposedly follow. No offense. And he's like, I've seen the ink markings on their foreheads. It's hard to scrub off. And they drink and whore and do whatever as everyone else does. Not very devout, as I know the holy peeps. And he's like, yeah, I think there's a good 6 of them, and they're strong lads. One or two, maybe a woman. If it's a woman, she's trying to hide it. A lot of extra clothes to bulk up. I can't tell. Maybe it's a boy.
I'm looking around. I'm like, it's a tough neighborhood.
And he's like, yeah, they're just throwing the weight around. I've seen a couple of them actually. Before this whole ink on the forehead thing, and they were just folk, bad folk, like you and me, right?
And I think as he says, it's like, it's not this symbol, is it? And I pull down my shirt enough so he can see the brand.
Yeah, you can tell this makes him uncomfortable. Like, oh yeah. It's like that's shit you do. That's shit you do to a guy in prison when you hate him. He kind of sees it, and you can kind of see him like.
But I'm like, then they're false followers.
Yeah, definitely not that. He's like, yeah. So why don't you ask? I'll give you one more question to ask him, given the information he's given you in year 5.
Did he give a location? So if not, that's what I ask.
Yeah.
Which is
okay. I'll say you're. Yeah, I'll say you're. Yeah, he's giving you like basically it's like South Central Crow's Foot. He gives you a couple street names that sound vaguely familiar. There's so many, and in the little nicks and crannies of Crow's Foot. All right.
Then I ask, who has been at the receiving end of most of their punishment?
Oh, local businesses right around there. I'd say within a block or two. They're trying to claim it as turf. I'm not actually sure whose it is, but they can't be happy.
Does he like name off a couple of the businesses, maybe?
I'll say, yeah. I mean, he hasn't given any business names per se, but it's definitely he gives you the location, and the fact that the businesses are around that area is about as much as he's can or is willing to give you.
Because my long game on that is to repay them and convert followers.
Nice, very cool. All right, cool. Let's jump from there to the trio.
Talking about I'm looking at the Crow's Foot information. Under landmarks Crow's Nest, it does say that this particular landmark is the current headquarters of the district's chief gang, the Crows, and you would think they'd be interested in somebody messing in their neighborhood.
Maybe they just haven't gotten to him yet.
Yeah.
They are in like a Civil War kind of thing currently.
Yeah.
They might have other things going on.
Oh, are they?
According to the book, yeah, they have stuff.
Yeah, according to the book, yeah.
Yeah,
but,
it might not be the same in our city.
Of course, but they're decent sized gangs. They might just not have gotten around to a couple of like a little gang that's starting to do a little trickery.
No, but that's a good note, Doc. We might be able to use that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, I feed this information back to the others.
Okay.
All
And
right.
then the three of them head out to that south central Crowsfoot block. So who's leading this charge?
Breaker would like to lead. I want to be. Let me hunt them down. I'm very. I have more than a little bit of experience tracking down rats in their holes in urban environments.
Yeah.
All right.
Survey.
And I forget, did you have a pet? No, you're a cutter, not a hound, right?
I'm a cutter.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I do have 2 points in survey, which is exactly what this kind of thing is for.
Yeah. Hunt
Cool.
works really good too.
Yeah. All right. So who wants to assist? There can be a assist. I say you both go along and participate, but only one of you can be the assister. And it really does matter in the grand scheme of things.
Does assist it? If you're talking about using survey, I've got 2 points in survey too. Would it help if I assist those 2 points?
It's just
Tribute?
+1.
Yeah, no, you just spend distress and they get a +1.
Yeah.
But my 2 points don't affect how much.
No,
Yeah.
not unless
Okay,
you're
all right.
not unless you're the main person, like
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Or if we were doing like a group action, that would count. But this
Ah,
the gather information really doesn't
yeah.
go into that. It's just
Yeah.
it's meant to be a very quick do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So
So
do the thing.
do the thing. So all right. So you guys know where it is. You zero in on it. Let's make the roll, and you guys can describe like what you're doing to. Is anyone assisting, by the way? Cassie, are you assisting? Or sorry, Junker, are you assisting?
Uh, do
Or
you
Fish?
need assistance?
Yeah. I was
Or do you
waiting to
want to
see
assist?
if Fish was going to do it.
Yeah, I'll assist.
Okay, spend one
I
stress,
guess.
and then
No.
all
Okay.
right, and then Adrian can add. You can add one bonus die. This will be let's see here. Let's just go with the standard risky standard.
Okay. Survey. And one bonus dice.
One bonus. All right, 6. Nice. All right. So you find them. They are in let's say a tavern. That's really shocking. You don't know at what stage of the partying they're in, but they're definitely partying it up. Which is not very, reverent of the goddess. Yeah, you see the like the blue ink. It's not a tattoo, but it's like it's definitely like a India ink type of thing. So yeah, just describe to me what you guys are doing as you do this in again 25 words or less version, and that'll help me figure out what information is uh the best to give you for that situation. So tell me what each of you are doing in the brief version.
Let's see. Where's
Don't all go at once.
the information?
Uh, so I guess they're in this cavern. So I guess I want to slip into the tavern and just take a look. I'm looking for the stone. I'm looking for who has the stone. I'm assuming they have it with them. Somebody's got a bag hanging from their belt or something that seems to have a something curiously inappropriately weighty in it.
Okay, but are you stealthing in to kind of blend in with the background, or you just walking in and buying some at the bar?
No, I'm just I'm slipping in the door and kind of staying to the shady areas around the walls of the tavern.
Okay, all right. How about Junker?
Junker is just going to go towards the entrance. She wants to find a high place, basically, so that she can see people entering and exiting the bar.
Nice. Yeah, there's like a textiles merchant building across the street, so you easily go to the second floor, with the, acting like you're trying to, maybe buy some, you know, what do you call it?
Yeah, ideally,
Cloth.
she wants to find a
Yeah.
somewhat abandoned place so that she can set up there.
Oh, I see. I see. Um, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So you guys, the survey roll all told was like a 6. So yeah, you can definitely like, oh hey, maybe buy a couple yards of this or that uh cloth, and just kind of they let you kind of have the run of the place. You may maybe go up to the, find the roof entrance and go up there, spend a little time. Sounds
Yeah.
reasonable. All right. How about Adrian?
Breaker
Breaker.
he's walking up. As he's approaching the tavern, nonchalant. He's looking at all the entrances. He wants to know how many exits and entrances, where they are, good ways to assault the place. He's basically treating this like this is a military outpost. How would he assault this place?
Sure. Okay.
With and any kind of opportunities or best place to make an entrance.
Cool. Sounds good.
And then he'll walk in, buy a beer and keep to himself.
All right. All right. Given those 3 things, I'll say that yeah, you guys see all 6 people in there, and again they kind of match what your buddy described. They've all obviously been around the block. Each of them has scars somewhere. They look like they are, they may have been, not so well off, but like you can see like the gauntness of someone who maybe went without for a little while, but now they're obviously living high for them. Again, they're not living like nobles or anything, but they're not living like street urchins anymore.
There's 4 of them. I thought there were 6 earlier.
6. I said 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So they're all armed. Most just have swords. Like two of the 6 have pistols in their belts. And pretty much the owner of the place, this is Crowsfoot, so he's had to serve some menacing people, but even seems a little, shaky when he's kind of, pouring their drinks and stuff, and obviously it's all in the house. So yeah, you do see Fish and Breaker would both see like the stone sitting on the counter on the bar, and these guys and Breaker will definitely be wilting some nearby flowers as he sees them. Like one of the guys actually gets served a shot and pours the shot over it, and you see all the water gush off of it.
Yeah,
And
well, Breakers just sees that, immediately turns around. He's holding the mug. The mug starts to creak up, like cracks start forming where he's holding it.
Yeah. So yeah, good times were had by all. All right.
Oh, these poor bastards.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so I guess we're moving along.
Yep. All right. So let's figure out now. Let's go to engagement.
Planning. Yep.
Yeah, I think what we're leaning towards is an assault, basically.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
So we're assaulting them. So that's the first. It's like come back. So we're assaulting them. Yes. So
This
Breaker
was
wants at least.
all right.
We need to exercise the ferocious aspect of our goddess.
Funny. Yeah. This is a good time to do so.
Time to remind everyone that our crew has a reputation and we need to uphold it.
Yeah, it's a brutal reputation.
All right.
So we are also at our break point too. I don't know if you want to start the assault roll stuff first, or if you want to.
No, that's true.
At the point of the attack, I guess we just run into we just send the people in, and they just like assault them. We just go in.
Well, let's do this. We have just a few minutes before the break. So what is the point of attack? There's like the front, which is obvious, and then there's a back storage room that goes out to kind of like a, um, I won't say, kind of like a, it looks like a receiving area where like they would back carts into in order to, unload goods for the bar, that kind of thing, the pub, the tavern, whatever.
I like that only because I think it gets us in a little bit cleaner.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any thoughts?
I think just kicking the door, going the
Door
front,
in.
just
I like that. Yeah, that's what Breaker wants to do.
I think that'd be the most interesting,
Okay.
fiction wise.
And they are probably going to be more than a little drunk by this point.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm fine for that. I might not be like right by your side, but
You
Well,
will be there in spirit.
Junker will definitely want to find a perch where she can see the
Yeah.
entrance and exits of the bar.
That was actually a thought that I had that actually might work. Because you mentioned when we were doing the knowledge rolls, there being rooftops nearby. Maybe a combo. Junker's on perched on a rooftop, then we come in through the back. Anyone who
So-
decides to run, they run right into Junker.
I mean, we could assault them, but I could always draw them out too. So
Yeah.
we could say the front door, and it could be either inside or outside. I could draw them out.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're calling this an actual assault. And the
Yep.
point of attack is that sounds like the front door. Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Fish, are you in on this?
Well, I'll let them. I'm thinking that they, they can do the attack, and what I'm going to do is slip in and grab the stone.
Okay. I
Yep,
think
that'll
that's fair.
definitely give you a roll.
Yeah.
That. I can take these guys on.
Oh my god. All right, so we have that. Let's take our break, and we'll make our engagement roll and do this thing. Bust some heads.
Yes.
How's that
Excellent.
sound?
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, see you guys
Alright.
in 10
Okay,
minutes.
Back in a couple.
Don't be late.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and we're back from the break. Let's see. All right, so during the break, Peacock had brought up doing like a setup action. The idea is the idea is to basically lure them out in hopes of getting a better position when we do the engagement roll.
Well, I think it's going to be probably after the engagement starts.
Yeah.
Because setup's a teamwork action, isn't it?
No, not necessarily. In fact, Blades mentions that. So linked plans. The diversion is a setup maneuver that a team member performs as part of the plan. A successful setup maneuver can improve position for teammates, possibly offsetting bad engagement roll or that kind of thing, or give it increased effect.
Breaker, would you be okay with Peacock basically trying to lure them into the streets so that we're not harming the locals?
Yeah. I mean, it
All
seems
right.
like you could just go in there and like issue a challenge to them and say like, meet us in the street, we'll settle this.
Yeah.
That
And plus
seems
it's
that seems to be the vibe we're going for.
okay. And the idea is Junker going to be like taking a sniper type position here, or what's?
Yeah, she's
That was
definitely
my
taking-
idea. Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
thought.
she's definitely taking sniper position.
Okay. All right. So
Good
enough.
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 Is our goal to beat these
No.
guys up or to kill them?
Good question.
That will be decided later. Non-lethal for now.
Okay. So it sounds like all right. So we're going to do a setup using Peacock as the lure. And again, so his actions definitely affect your setup action or your engagement action as we go into this. Meanwhile, Fish is coming in the back with the idea of getting the hands on that stone. So that's kind of a secondary thing. But that leaves what do you call it? Adrian on the street, Junker on a high place, and Peacock somewhere on the ground. That's basically where we are. All right. So let's do this. Let's do Steve's thing. Sorry, Peacock's thing, because it is a setup to this. and then we'll go with the engagement roll.
Oh, what's the load for everyone?
Yeah,
Uh,
what's
Sorry,
load.
yeah? What do you want? What do you want to do for load?
Yeah, we're doing assault. It seems like everybody should
Yeah.
go heavier.
I mean, I was going to go last because he's going heavy. Adrian is going. Breaker is going to go heavy.
Yeah,
Um,
Junker's definitely going heavy.
so in order to pull off my sway, I'm actually going to go light load.
Okay. How about fish?
Ooh, I might actually do mule.
Light makes a lot of sense just in general for fish. But maybe I should go normal just to cover some more options.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this is the
absolutely.
thing, this is the only decision I have to make, right? The actual items of the loadout I can choose
As you need them.
as it evolves.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so you're normal, so you have 5 load, basically.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, and again, the benefit that, and what Peacock was talking about was he has to look like he's just an ordinary dude, which is what light load gets you. Again,
Right.
normal load makes you look like you're a scoundrel looking for trouble, and heavy load means that you're pretty much going to war, like
Yeah,
right
you're
right
an
freaking
operative.
now, right freaking now, it's going down. All right. So yeah, and all right, yeah. So why don't you, Peacock? Why don't you just describe what you're doing? Let's get your setup roll going. Let's get this show on the road.
So Peacock's gonna, thrust open the door of this place. Stand in it a second, letting the, dim light from the, street lamps, illuminate him. Then he's gonna call out, I hear there's a couple slime balls in here that think they worship Shanas. But that's not what I hear. I hear they're just fooling around with some trinket, and they're not a true member like me. And he, shows off that same, symbol again. And I think they need to prove it in the street.
Nice.
So I'm trying to get their goat,
Excellent.
so to speak.
All right. What action are you using for this?
I think I'm trying to sway them to come out and go toe to toe, or explain themselves.
Sure.
And the leverage I'm using is I'm basically just trying to besmirch their reputation here.
Sure. Fisher, were you trying to say something?
Reputation.
Oh, I was just thinking as he's saying that, Fish is thinking to himself, don't draw attention to the stone.
Nice. That's
well,
awesome.
maybe that's what happens when I fail.
Yeah, that's funny. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. That's you're definitely swaying. So roll sway. Let's see here. Do you want to push yourself or devil's bargain?
I think I'm putting myself. What would a devil's bargain be? That they take the stone? I think I want to push myself because I think I'm really putting myself out there in a dangerous position that I'm in no way able to back up.
Fair enough. All right. All right. Yeah. Take 2 stress. Yeah. You have 2 stress, and then yeah, roll it.
And what position would you call this?
Oh wow, that is so because it's like on one side they're like, it's just aghastness. It's like disbelief. Did this guy just come in here all alone? And
I'm calling out 6 guys.
Yeah, it's like it's audacious. So I'm gonna let's call it. Let's start with risky, risky and standard effect. Let's go standard effect.
Yeah, I think it'd give him a desperate. That sounds pretty desperate to me.
Well, I'd say it's risky. I would say it's risky at this point because they're all sitting down and there's still that shock of wait, what just happened? I'd say it could get desperate very quickly though if they actually get up.
Yeah, let's keep it at risky. Does that sound good to you,
Okay.
Peacock?
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
risky,
I'm okay with that. I mean, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, risky standard.
Again, they're again, as Neo says, they're not armed and waiting for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of taken by surprise, so that shock might help him not, immediately get stabbed. But
Yeah. All right. So you got
I
a
was gonna say
4.
if I did roll desperate, I probably would be stabbed right now.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about
exactly.
that. I really don't
Yeah.
want to get your character killed.
Because
Alright.
like desperate is like a consequence for
Oh
desperate.
no, it could
It's
still
like
be
a
stabbed.
3.
It could
three,
technically still be
3
stabbed.
trauma. It's a big deal.
So, this is the first time. Well, not the first time, but just as you guys get familiar with this. So, 4 is a partial success. So it's a success. You got to focus on the part that
Mhm.
says it's a success.
Yes.
So he got what he wanted. He got their goat, and they're coming. I'm gonna say the complication is that there was a blue coat nearby, kind of just as he literally turning the corner as he comes out to Peacock strutting out, and these 6 guys following after him, getting swords drawn and shit. So we're probably looking at an extra heat.
Okay.
I
All
love
right.
the heat.
All
It
right,
keeps
so
me
let's
warm at night.
yeah. All right, so let's make our engagement roll.
Yeah.
Let's see. So let's see here. So let's figure out how many dice we have. So engagement roll, you have one die for sheer luck. Then we have, let's see, is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I'd
Yes.
say yes.
I would say
So
yes.
I mean, we're definitely smaller than them and probably less trained.
Bordering
True.
on stupid, but that's
That's what daring means.
oh, okay.
All right, so that's awesome. It's let's see, is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? No, it's contingent on knives and guns and fists. So good. All right, so that's 2 so far. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability to the target or hit them where they're weakest?
I'd say yes, because we're coming at it like they've been carousing, drinking, relaxed. So it's kind of coming out of nowhere, and they might be potentially inebriated.
And we're planning on to ambush them, so I think that is a vulnerability.
Yeah, they're walking right into a trap.
Okay, let's say +1. Now, conversely, is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular offense or special precautions?
Do they, GM?
I'll let you guys decide. They're bravos, so I would say maybe
Yeah.
this counters out your 1D. This is kind of what they do, is beat the shit out of people.
So they do. They're bravos. They do fights.
Okay.
So let's say 1 die. So you're back to 2. Can any of your friends, contacts provide insight for this operation? And technically, they already did.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so +1. No enemies are interfering with this operation, at least that you guys are aware of. Are there any other elements you want to consider? Let's see. Tier, we're not going to worry about tier. These guys are tier 0 like you.
Okay.
I'm going to say not particularly that comes to my mind. Not that, again, your how good or bad your plan is all about the engagement roll or how well it goes off. So we really don't even want to include your plan setup for this. So does 3 sound good?
So where does the setup come in?
Is this just this is
Oh,
this is a group role, right? It's not an individual.
Yeah, it's a group. So there's me a person making a roll. And yes, yeah, the actually, yeah, your what do you call it? Your setup. Let's see here. Let me just go back to their blink plan. Yeah, so successful setup maneuver, which it was, can improve position, potentially offsetting a bad engagement roll or giving increased effect. Successful setup maneuver might cause trouble, etc., etc.
So I'm fine if it just offsets if we, don't get a, as good of a result with the, engagement roll.
Yeah,
if
I
it,
can.
Offsets it.
I'm fine with that because
Okay.
we're doing big, bold, and daring. So it'd be good to have a little safety net.
Sure.
Can I just ask, is there a sheet here somewhere where you're reading this off of?
The book.
Just the book.
Oh, just
Yeah, it's like
okay,
131 is linked plans, and then a few pages before is the engagement roll.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to assume that Mr. Cross is he's kind of the crux to this. Do you want to roll the engagement?
That's fine with me.
All right.
So
So
it's
3 dice. I suppose it's technically like a fortune. Or make a fortune roll. All right. That's good. All right. So 5, risky position. Let's see here. So let's see. Risky. Do we want to go use that setup to call this a controlled?
Yeah,
Or-
let's improve the
Sure.
position to controlled. You know, maybe it's because the blue coat just rounded the corner. You know, maybe doesn't want to get involved yet. You know,
Okay.
because we don't want him pulling, you know, arms on us.
Gotcha.
And does he care about, you know, this kind of, for him, minor skirmish in the street? He might just
Yeah.
want
We will
to
see.
cheer on and walk away.
I mean,
Well, the
yeah.
question is, does he immediately call for backup or does he stay and watch?
Yeah. Or
You
does he
know,
care
maybe
that a
that's the,
couple?
you know,
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
So
look, some scum is fighting some other scum.
all right.
Oh, 6 less scum I have to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the setup works as you can tell, this works really well, but this unfortunately will not be available on everyone. So just kind of keep that in mind that
Yep.
the engagement roll, generally speaking, is going to be just
Yeah.
whatever you get. So, but this is a good cool thing to add to this. That's pretty awesome. So
Yeah,
good
and I
idea.
didn't know
Good
that's
idea.
exactly
Also.
how it works. So thank you.
Again, we all know a section and we're showing the others. So I really appreciate that. I've been reading the book and reading the book and reading the book, but you can only retain so much, and it's nice that we're all kind of putting our stuff together, you know. So I really do appreciate each of you guys for that. So thank you. Anyway, so so we're gonna call this controlled. So when we see our guys, the 6 of them kind of walk out into the street. The locals are now freaked out. So they basically they've seen this before, probably a little, too many times. And they're basically like, the shop across the streets kind of, covering their wares and kind of bringing in what they can and locking the doors, and it's kind of you're at kind of like a crossroad corner type of situation where you have a decent amount of space to play with here. It is of course dark because it's freaking dark and it's crow's foot. There's light coming from the various businesses. There's probably one working lamp, that's lit up with the electroplasm. This is crow's foot, so that you're probably on a dirt, muddy-ish, street here. And the 6 come out and they kind of fan out a bit. There's kind of like like I say, animals. They kind of puff themselves up to look bigger to the opponents, to look bigger and badder and scarier. Well, they fan out to try to do the same thing, it seems. But yeah, the kind of like strangely the smallest in stature of the 3 kind of calls out, "Who's calling us liars? Who's calling us fakes? I want you to tell me to my face."
And then that's Breaker's cue. And then Breaker walks up out of the gloom from up the street. I am, you pretentious little shit.
You can see again the guy is surprised. He obviously outnumbers you, but he's
Yes.
so again it's this shock factor.
You have been besmirching my goddess's name. It is time that you learn what it truly means to be in her favor. And you will pay the price for taking her name for your parlor tricks.
Yeah.
Excellent. So meanwhile, if this was the TV show, right now we would cut to a scene inside the tavern and you can actually this kind of takes place in the same time. You actually hear Breaker's speech outside going as Fish is skulking in the back. There's like they pretty much chased out any real paying clientele, so the only people in there are now you and the bartender. Whether he realizes you're there or not, we'll figure that out. And the stone is there.
Really?
What do
They
you
just
what
let
do
me
you
sit on
do?
the bar?
Well,
Yeah.
they don't care.
Well, that makes it so easy.
That's the point. A well done plan.
The
Yeah,
question is, what's the bartender going to do?
I'm gonna walk up and say, holy crap! Look out for that guy. And when the bartender looks out for that guy, I'm gonna grab the stone or just kind of slip it off the bar into my pocket and walk out the front door behind following the thugs up.
All right. So let's figure out how you do.
I'm going out the front door because I want to, I may be able to help.
Sure.
I don't want to go out the back where I'm essentially out of the fight and not being able to,
Yeah.
help out in
So
case it goes.
yeah, so what I'd like to do is like let's figure out what happens with the whole bartender distraction thing. So you're doing that. I'd like you to roll for it. So we have to figure out what skill you'd like to use first of all.
All right, the skills. Is this the insight, prowess, resolve stuff?
Yes.
Yep. So
Okay.
basically, figure out what thing works best for you.
Okay. Let's see. Finesse and
Yeah.
pocket
So
with subtle misdirection or sleight of hand. That sounds like, of the ones that I've put a tick in, that sounds like that might come closest.
Yeah,
what's Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that would fit
Yeah.
for this.
now, as a note, I just kind of want to point out that one of the beauties of the system is the fact that it's fiction first. So you can accomplish this in a number of ways. It's up to you how you want that to happen. For example, you could have said, I want to consort, or rather sway. Either consort to say, oh, convince this guy, hey, these guys are dickwads anyway, so you can just ignore me taking this thing and I get out of here scot-free, hopefully. Or you could sway, or you could sway him to kind of distract him or whatever. Or you could, like you're doing, you choose to get the stone by finessing it. So I just want to point that out. That again, there are ways you can do this. Whatever you want to do
There
is
are
the
ways
way.
to do it, but the fact that I have like one or two dots in an item gives me a better chance of getting a better roll.
It gives you more dice. You get 1 dice per dot.
Okay.
Which is so the more dots you have, the better it is.
All right. So I would have, like, for sway someone with charm, logic, deception, disguise, or bluff. I would want to feel like that is really the way to go above and beyond that.
Yeah. Well, what I'm trying to say is you tell me how you're doing it and what skill you're using to
Sure.
do it, and then we'll
Okay.
figure out how the roll looks from there.
Well,
But I'm just
since
saying
I'm
there's many
basically
ways to do
saying,
this.
okay, well, since my thought was to say, hey, look up, look out over there. That sounds like employing subtle misdirection. Maybe not so subtle, but and sleight of hand is slipping the stone off the bar.
Yeah.
But it could be I could go
while
either on that myself. But so what skill? What action you want to use?
I don't understand. You can go either. They're
Which
both under finesse.
oh, finesse is what you're looking for. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
let's roll finesse. Do you want to push yourself or get a devil's bargain for an extra die?
Okay, just pushing myself does what?
You take 2 stress and you get another dice.
Yep.
Okay.
Or a devil's bargain is I offer you a deal for an extra die, and kind of go from there.
So I've got 1 die right now, or 2 die.
You have 1
I
die.
got a die.
You have
Okay.
however many die is your finesse.
Yeah, which is 1.
Oh, okay.
1. Okay. All right. So what was the? It adds 2 stress. What is that called?
It's pushing
Sorry
yourself.
for pushing myself. Okay, I'll push myself for 2 stress.
Okay.
All
Right. So
but
go
then
ahead
I
and
need some of that stress for the fight that I might end up
all right. Well, when you're ready, go ahead and mark off your stress.
in. Okay, I'll take the 2 stress. See if I can get the stone.
Okay, good. And you're gonna roll
Okay.
finesse.
Oh man, I hate to be so naive, but how do I roll?
Click on the
How do
word
I do that?
finesse.
Oh, okay.
So click on finesse, and
Okay,
this is going to
this thing
be, I'm going to say this is going to be risky and standard effect.
and standard. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just bonus dice.
1.
1. Okay. And then submit.
All right, 5.
Okay.
All right. So that's again, 5 is a partial success. Almost perfect. I'm going to say, yeah, you slip the thing in without him noticing. But you do notice that one of the Bravos from outside happened to be looking back at you when you did. So you got it. It's in your pocket, but one of the Bravos might have seen you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can resist that consequence if you like.
Yes. You can resist with resolve if you're willing to spend more stress.
I did that the last time and got way out of the stress.
Yeah, resisting can give you a lot of stress
Yeah.
if you're not careful.
So what happened? So one of these Bravos is this Bravo already outside?
yeah, they're all outside.
They're all outside already. Okay.
And one of them might have seen you.
Might have seen me.
Yeah.
But I don't really
He was
know
looking
if
back
had.
at the time.
He was looking back. So the question is, what would this person do about it, if anything? Do I know anything about how the fight's going at this point?
How to what?
I'd say it's time to cut back to the potential fight.
Yeah. So right now we'll say we're on the same time continuum. We have now caught up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is if the fight's looks like it's going good, I may turn around and go out the back.
no, you the fight hasn't even started. It's about to.
It's just
Okay.
about to start.
All right.
All right.
So do we leave it just there for now? I don't have to deal with this situation yet.
Well, you are in the situation, so
Okay. All right. Okay.
yeah. So it's happening. We're now in the same. We're now exactly in the same second.
Oh, now we're just all in the fight. I got it. Sorry for having
You're
to
doing
ask
fine.
a lot.
All right. So what do you guys do?
Well, I mean, Breaker's called them. I mean, that's the thing. Breaker called them out. He came up to them because now we're caught up. So Breaker walked up to them, called them out, called them all, insulted them. What was their reaction to this?
So they're kind of like just staring you down. They see you basically. They see Peacock, and that's like it. One has an inkling that there's somebody inside, but who knows? At the least thing in that person's mind is probably that they're involved. So there's 6 of them, 2 you. He's like, oh, we're gonna pour the love of the goddess all over you and your blood. He actually he draws a knife.
Breaker.
Junker, I'll just one thing. Junker is just waiting for a signal from Breaker for like lethal or non-lethal.
he doesn't even have the non-lethal side of his hand. Have you met Breaker?
I have delayed lethal. I have delayed lethal. You can always kill them later. Let's clean up.
All right, so it's up to you guys now. You guys are driving this fight. Tell me what you're doing.
All right. Breaker sees. Oh, interesting choice of weapons. I think mine is a bit more appropriate. Reaches into his long coat and pulls out a mace. A finely crafted one-handed iron mace, flanged.
All right,
And
cool.
that's his fine hand weapon.
Nice. Yeah. So mark your. Yeah, you already marked it. So awesome.
So That's a
You're
tier. That's a
heavy.
tier 1. He's a tier 1 fight man now.
Yes, he is.
Now he
All
is.
right.
Now he has the advantage, and reaches up, does closed fist, and to signal Junker.
Yeah, so that's lethal.
No, is it? I thought. Which is which?
That's. I'm sorry. That's.
I'm
You don't
pretty sure
know.
it
You
was-
don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure-
This is part
I'm
of the
pretty
engagement
sure
role. You
it
don't
was
even know.
Open hand.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, it's just like open.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna say.
Lethal.
Okay.
So you. So let's go with this. Let's say.
Oh,
Let's say Breaker put up the fist because that's what he thinks it is.
no.
This is like it's one of those comedy scenes in the otherwise action movie. So was
There
it?
you
I
go.
can't remember. Is it?
Screw it.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, that means Junker pulls back her heavy cloak and takes out a rifle and puts it up there and starts sighting them up.
All right. Mark your load.
Because otherwise, I was just going to use the blow dart and like paralysis powder or something.
Cool.
He
All right.
will say one thing when he opens up the hand. The short one was the one that was talking.
Yeah, the very shortest one was the boaster.
Leave the short one alive.
And they kind of look around like, who in the hell is he talking to? All right, so tell me. So let's get some action going. I'm gonna start. I'm starting inflicting some damage here.
Let's open up with a gunshot.
Okay.
That's a good way to tenderize them.
All right.
And he'll wait. Breaker's gonna wait until a gunshot until shooting happens, and then he's going to charge in.
Okay, so anybody want to assist me, or should I push myself? What?
Can they assist you? Is there a good way to
Yeah.
assist? I mean, you could totally move the guy into the open.
Move him into the shot.
Yeah, I mean, you could just like step aside.
if you want to spend the stress.
If anyone else wants to, I need my stress for this, from what I have planned.
Okay.
Okay. You want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
I will push myself for this.
All right. Spend your stress, and you get the extra die.
Okay, so risky.
Yeah. What action are you using?
I'm using hunt for precise shooting.
Okay. So this first round is an ambush. You guys, definitely you're in a controlled state. This first shot will be controlled standard, but that will change.
Controlled standard. Okay. I get one bonus die. Nobody else wants to assist me.
I can assist. And I think it's just me challenging him. Like, there's just the two of us. Just like keeping their attention and keeping them from looking around and looking up.
All right. All right. Spend your stress, and Junker, you get, so that gives you the 2. Ooh, nice. 6. All right.
Yes,
so
I nailed it.
Yep. All right. So Junker, tell me what it looks like to explode this person.
Well, she just basically just puts the rifle down on she kind of prepared like a sniper nest up in the window. So she just puts the rifle down, sights it down. She's aiming like center mass and just boom, pulls the trigger.
All right.
This is in the window of the textile factory, right?
The rooftop or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the rooftop. No, I like the image of people in the factory saying, what just happened?
Yeah, I'll say for some flavor. So as Fish is like kind of skulking out to join the party, he gets a nice face full of blood from the guy. The guy basically the one guy. There was six guys, and one guy is basically a head short, literally a head short, as the ball kind of tears into him and rips his face off and a lot of his head with it. And it's one of those things where the body stands for a second because that's what it was last told to do by its nervous system, which no longer exists, and then just like mushed to the ground.
He was technically aiming like center mass.
It's headshot's more interesting.
I don't know if this fits, but this is what I could see
Yeah, jump in.
happening next. Okay, some of the blood gets on the stone, and the stone starts gushing water
Oh,
onto
nice.
the street, turning it to mud,
Cool. Yeah.
slippery mud.
Yeah, let's say that it's going to take a while, but yeah, let's say it starts turning to mud. That sounds cool.
All right. With that gunshot, Breaker charges in with his
All right.
mace
Nice.
and begins laying about him.
And begins laying about. Excellent.
For this, I'm going to push myself, which activates my special ability, with not to be trifled with. I can push myself to perform a feat of physical force that verges on the superhuman, like, say, fighting a small gang on equal footing in close combat.
Nice. Excellent. Cool.
So that gives me so that's pushing myself. So 3 dice. What would be the effect? Do you think? Because I'm using a tier 1, a tier up weapon, and not to be trifled with, gives me increased effect as well.
Right. So this is one of the first combat rules we ever done. So let me kind of go through what Neocree is kind of going at here. So basically, you have the position and effect. Both. So like mostly the effect is all about like this environment. How well can he do? So the worst is I would say you're in actually a desperate position. You're like pretty much facing these guys down by your lonesomeness, more or less. So I'm going to say this is a desperate situation. So basically that's me as the GM saying this could go really, really bad. However, I have to take some things into account for the effect. So let's just say he hadn't done the not trifled with, and he had a normal weapon. The main factor going on here is the scale of the 6 people against him. So scale wins. So anything he did would probably be limited. It pushes him back from standard to limited. So what he's done with activating not be trifled with was he's basically taken that scale away from him, which kind of pushes it back to standard. And he has a higher tier weapon than they are. So I'm willing to say that then pushes it up to great. So this is going to be a desperate position, great effect.
Yep. All right.
No twit.
Skirmish. Desperate.
And also mark 1 XP for your desperate roll.
Yep.
This is definitely one that somebody should. Assisting would be good.
Yeah, does anyone want to assist?
Does anyone want?
Yeah, Fish and Peacock are in a good position to assist if they want.
Yeah. I can. So I would say what I'm specifically doing to assist.
Yeah, you don't in this situation. You don't actually make a roll, but you just basically say, "What are you doing to make his roll more effective?"
Well, since gone lethal, I'm gonna. Part of my loadout is blade or 2, and I'm going to slip forward and I'll like start forward and low and start cutting Achilles tendons.
Okay, so that's your okay. So that's assist is you start to cut at him. All right, all right. So you have let's see. So you're pushing yourself. That's 1 extra die. You're getting an assist. That's 2. So yeah, and
All right.
roll it.
2. All right.
All right. So 5. Okay. Yeah. So we'll say
So,
yeah. So yeah. Describe your great effect.
all right. So they're laughing. They're like, "What's one man can do?" Ha ha ha. See the power of the goddess, fools! And he blurs it, like his mace is a blur. He blurs into them. It's like a demigod is walking among them. Weapons come up to block it. It breaks through the weapon and then breaks through the arm. Like
With it,
he's going through arms, legs. He's caving in or like mangling anything that even comes close to that mace. He does make sure, as his first act, to crush in the knee of the little guy. He doesn't want to kill him, but he does want to teach him a lesson. And then he, with the others, he's mostly targeting limbs, incapacitation.
Okay. All right. So
Actually, you know what? He saw the gunshot, so he shrugs. Yeah, little guy, he crushes his knee. The other guys, he's less choosy. He'll
okay.
crush an arm, or he'll crush a skull or a chest if he gets the chance.
Okay. All right. So I'll say you affect 2 of them for your great roll. But both are taken out of combat for all intents and purposes. The little guy's knee is just destroyed, and he lets out this primal scream of pain. It's as if he couldn't believe this is even happening, much less this degree of damage that he's now feeling. The other guy basically his last act is to cut into you. You're gonna take some level 2 damage.
Fortunately, I brought some armor, which
Excellent.
I will use to resist that.
All right. So okay, so yeah, mark your armor off, and that'll reduce it to 1. I'm gonna call it let's see, slice to the chest. So mark a level 1 arm.
All right, so it's like I could if I wanna, if you'll let me. He lunges, so I just blur in, slam him, smash another guy. He as he's falling back, he slices at my chest, which cuts through his shirt, because he wears like a knit turtleneck. Slices through the turtleneck, revealing armor underneath.
Cool. Yeah, in the background, you may even have like a little smirk on your face as this all goes on, as you notice Fish doing his fast knife work behind. In fact, Fish, you can if Fish was a boastful person, he in the right situation, he can boast that he made this all possible.
So that is. Oh, he might do that next.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. Yeah. So you took the cut. That leaves a whole 3 guys left. What do you guys do?
Just imagine what's going through their heads. It's in like what, 5 seconds, 3 of
If
them
that.
are either dead or crippled.
Yeah. So Fish or Peacock, what are you guys up to?
Thinking.
Okay.
Well, what about the tendons I cut? 3 that are already down, or one of those, or
Well, so you're
So it's just,
assisting.
yeah,
That's kind of immaterial to this. Your
oh, I see.
your
Okay,
assistance was you made what he did more possible.
better.
And that's
Mhm.
the
okay,
effect of what you've done.
all right,
But
all right, I
now,
got
yeah, but now
you.
I'm giving you the chance to make an action of your own.
Oh, okay.
So what would you like to do?
There are 3 guys left.
You have 3 guys left, one of which was the guy that saw you. And in fact, I'm going to say he's turning around to
Oh,
look your way.
you're gonna say,
If by chance, because he is twisted around by his buddy falling on him.
yeah, and there's now, of course, water gushing out of the stone.
Right, exactly.
I think so. He's gonna like, look at me and basically, yeah, you got the stone kind of look. Uh, I I also in my loadout I have throwing knife,
Nice.
and I'm going to when he looks at me, I'm going to throw that knife at his throat.
Nice. All right. So that what action are you going to use for that?
Oh, I gotta do. Okay, let's see. Survey location. Gain information. Yes. So misdirection. Oh, I don't really have one, do I?
Well, I mean, so okay. So again, it's a fiction first type of thing. So you can tell me, oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna basically he sees me, but kick dust in his eye, and I'm gonna wheel around and try to get behind him, and maybe use prowl as like a attack, backstab type thing.
Oh,
Or
okay.
you
So
can
I
say
can
I'm
Yeah.
throwing, or you can say I'm throwing knives. So
prowl
as a
about one
reminder,
scene and traverse obstacles, climb, swim, run, jump, tumble,
yeah,
ambush
Yeah.
yeah.
ambush with close range.
Exactly.
Yeah, that works.
I definitely say
So forget the
having
throwing knife.
demigod with a crazy man with the metal club breaking people would probably be a good thing to draw people's eyes away from you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this guy looks at me, and well, has he looked at me? Have
He
we
sees you.
established that?
He is, yeah.
Okay,
He makes eye contact again.
okay, okay. He sees me, but I'm small and I'm fast, and he's also he might see me, but he's also trying to avoid
Not
dying.
die.
Yeah, yeah. So so I'm gonna I'll use prowl and I'll I really don't need the throwing knife then. I'll just slip around behind him and
Your superior speed.
hmm
yes, and in this case, though, I think I don't know what kind of leverage I could get on him. I think actually trying to reach his throat would be
Yeah.
cumbersome.
Well, don't worry about that.
Uh,
Let's not even talk about that. That's
oh, I don't have
immaterial,
to
right?
get into
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have to
details.
get into that kind of
We
detail.
don't care right now.
Oh,
We don't.
all right.
We have to determine how this breaks out. So okay. So again,
Okay.
I'm trying to teach the way that the
Prowl
yeah.
around, use the knife to
Okay. So again,
pick.
things are fiction first here. So basically, you're saying you're kind of wheeling around, trying to he's distracted, so you're using that distraction to get in behind him. So that tells me that you're prowling. So if you want to, if you're
Yeah.
doing that, then you can certainly use prowl. If you
Yeah,
would,
I'm gonna
if you would just
prowl.
if you would just face him, that what you're doing is you're skirmishing. So it'd be you could use skirmish, or you could use prowl, but you're really not.
Prowl
So
is much more in keeping with Fish's style.
yeah. So again, I'm just trying to teach you here. So
Yep,
check this out.
yep.
Yeah. So okay. So again, it's fiction first. So you tell me what happens, and and then you tell me you're allowed to choose the action you want to use for this, right? So, but you have to do it in order to do it. So you're saying you just described a prowl very well. But if you described a skirmish, basically I run up to him straight and I stab him in the stomach and I want to use prowl. You're not doing a prowl, so you could still actually choose that, but I would very much limit your effect. So basically that's the first part. So okay, so we've picked that. So I also want to point out that just because you don't have dots in a thing doesn't mean you can't do the thing. You just basically roll 2 dice and you take the lower of the 2. However, you can always push yourself to get a die, and then you're free of that. So you're never really out of luck. And rolling 1 die gives you a 50% chance of success. So
Okay.
again, and this is another reason I definitely want you to check out the book a little more and kind of get into that part, and that'll kind of give you a more in-depth kind of explanation than I'm trying to give you right now. Okay, so you established the action. I'm gonna say that I would normally say it's controlled, but there's so much going on here. I'm gonna call it risky and standard effect. So go ahead
Okay,
and
so I just click on prowl.
Click on prowl. Now, do you want to push yourself, or do you want a devil's bargain?
I'm not going to push myself. I got enough stress already.
Okay. Do you want a devil's bargain?
No.
Okay. Then go ahead and click on prowl, and we're doing risky standard.
Risky. Standard. So there's no bonus dice. I got
That
the
is
two
correct.
that I got the dots for. Okay.
Forward. And he goes and gets a 6. Okay, so 6 is a complete score here. So yeah, you stab. Basically, the dude's distracted enough. He sees you and he knows you have that stone at this. You can tell by the look in his eye. He knows you have that stone. But he is a little more concerned about the dude with the freaking huge ass mace that just killed 2 of his friends like they were paper in front of him. So he is not paying attention to you, and use that to your advantage. Immediately, knife flips out in your hand. You're behind him. Next thing you know, you're basically you could literally whisper in his ear as you're driving the knife home.
Okay.
And dude just drops. All right, Peacock, what are you up to? A lot has happened in the last 6 seconds.
So, dang, they are no longer even a small gang now.
I was gonna say, is there one left or two
There's
left?
two.
Two left.
That too.
They are not even a gang.
Is the little guy still there?
He is crippled. He was one. The first thing I
okay.
did was take him out of the fight
Right, you
non-lethally
went for him
because he's
first.
my information.
Hmm. Let me
Two
think.
hanger-ons.
I'm not much of the fisticuffs kind of guy.
What's your command like?
Non-existent.
Oh darn.
Like
No
so
pressure.
I walk close enough to one of them to make sure I have his attention. I'm like, maybe I can call off my friend here if you tell me where you acquired the stone.
Looks over at friend, furiously smashing a dude into paste.
So what do you actually say to him?
I'm like, I can call up my friend here if you tell me exactly where you got that stone, and maybe some of this violence can end.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's find out. What do you?
Let's find out.
Let's find out what he has to say. What action you want to use here?
I believe I'm trying to sway him because I'm not
Sure.
offering him, fine drink or anything in this.
Not at the moment.
I'm just giving him a good reason, which is I might not let this guy kill you. I think that's decent leverage. I'd be willing to hear a devil's bargain.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna say that I'll offer you a devil's bargain that you can get an extra die if the crows take notice of you. A crow member takes notice and sees you more as the interloper than the other guys.
Sure, because that's just fun.
All right, take an extra die.
And position and effect.
This is still you're in the middle of the tornado, so we're gonna call this let's call it risky and standard.
Okay.
A tornado of large pieces of heavy steel.
Ooh, luckily I got that 4.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So you have a 4, partial success. Yeah. So the guy looks at you and he's just like, you can see the fear in his eyes. Like he was like one of the rough and toughians of the group here, and now you can see that he was just a bully. All that bravado is bleeding away. But let's see what's a good one for this one. I'm gonna say that he tells you, he's like, we got it from one of the gondoliers. One of the gondoliers. The guy named like Philip. His name's Philip. And I'm gonna say that while you were kind of doing this thing, one of the other remaining dude, he sees you. All he sees is you coming at his buddy, and
Okay.
he'll lash out. I'll give you another two harm.
Okay.
He's gonna just go. He's like, I have like one buddy left. So he's basically freaking out and going all in. You want to resist that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You can just mark your armor too.
Yeah, I could just, but I narratively went in without armor specifically.
Well, armor is 2 slots. You could have had it hidden, if as long as it's under 3.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
true. I went in light.
Yeah.
And I could have just not been wearing a chest plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll mark armor.
Awesome. And this, again, thank you for bringing that up, Neo. This is a good example of how this comes in. Next time, if we don't get into it this time, we'll be looking at flashbacks and stuff. All right.
Now, does that reduce it by 1 or does that reduce 2?
Let's.
I actually don't know.
No,
I was
that's a
looking
good
at
question.
armor recently. I believe it functions like regular resistance, like a free resist.
Okay.
But
Right.
only for physical attacks, obviously.
Okay. So, and now again, in kind of trying to figure out my philosophy for this, like, do we want to do a lot of damage and healing and have that take up time? I don't know. So my thoughts were like 3 or 4 harm by a resist gets reduced to the next lower, 2 or lower negates it.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how. Again, it's a matter of how greedy we want to be. What are your guys' thoughts?
I guess unless you have heavy armor specifically, that would maybe apply to the 3 or 4, harm type things, versus just lowering it.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
if you're wearing plate mail, you're wearing plate mail.
Gotcha. Well, let's go with that. So let's say your resistive armor negates it. I still want to give Breaker his 1 harm because he was like in the middle of everything. I really should have called for 3 at that time, but yeah. So let's keep him at that, and let's go with this other thing. So that'll work for us, and we can always change. None of this is in stone, but I think it's a good philosophy to work with. So we're already spending a lot of downtime time, and if we have to, do everybody's constantly injured and constantly desperately trying to get back, you're never going to have a great adventure. I want to keep you guys on the score if I can, for the most part. So yes, so you take you basically, dude comes at you with this knife, and he doesn't even realize you're wearing armor, and that's why he hasn't put the effort in that he should have, had he known you're wearing armor. So yeah, that's cool. Meanwhile, what's Junker up to?
I think Junker is preparing to, get the fuck out of here. So she is. I want to mark my bandolier. Let's see here. And then I want to throw a smoke grenade to cover our escape.
Oh, well, that's cool. All right, do it. So what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? I suppose so basically, I see. So this is more like leading to, if they go to escape, we can use this as like a effector for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm willing to go with that. All right. So yeah, you throw your bandolier, bouncing your bandolier down, and boom. Suddenly the ground around you guys it's wet, it's bloody, and now it's smoky. It's like the most heavy metal video you've ever seen, all in one.
Yeah. Do you want me to roll for it, or does it just happen?
For purposes of this, you're not really looking to accomplish anything but make their escape easier. So I'm not gonna make you roll for it.
I
I
could
don't
roll
think.
like a setup action.
Oh, hey, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do that. That sounds like a great idea. So what action do you want to use here?
Yeah, let's do a tinker roll.
Okay, guys. Well,
That seems reasonable.
gotcha. Now, is it like the question is it tinkering to throw a smoke bomb?
Well, I guess I could do that. Maybe wreck.
Cool.
Create distractions and chaos. That makes sense.
I say I fit for a wreck.
Cool.
Yeah.
Works for me. All right, yeah. Roll your
Bomb
make your
throwing anarchist.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So let's call it. So roll rec. We'll call it risky. Yeah, let's go risky standard. Do you want to push yourself or do devil's bargain?
Let's see. First setup action. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what's the rules for a setup action again specifically.
It's basically just an action. Let me go to it real quick. I mean, basically your let's see if I can find it real quick. It's a teamwork thing. Can find it really fast, but I can't. Let's see here. Information. Come on. Plans. Teamwork. Here we are. All right. So setup action. Okay. When you perform a setup action, you have an indirect effect on an obstacle. If your action is intended to result, any member of the team who follows through on your maneuver gets +1 effect level or improved position for their roll. You choose the benefit based on the nature of your setup action. So let's see here. Yeah, so it's basically just a standard roll. And if you succeed, they'll be able to take advantage of your effect.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go ahead and push myself. That'll make me exactly 6 stress, which is good.
Cool. All right.
So
So position. Everything is again. You're in just the right place. Before all this broke out, I would have said risky, but you're really not the focus of all this. They're worried about the dude with the huge ass mace that's destroying shit down there. So let's call it controlled and standard.
Okay.
6 nice. All right. So yeah, so that you throw your gas bombs down, and poof. As the again, there's water on the ground. There's blood. It's the clay of the ground is turning red. Then suddenly, poosh! There's just smoke all around you guys, and it envelops you. This again, if you want to in the next several rounds, if you guys want to escape, this will help you. Or for Fish's purposes, if he wants to ambush or something or prowl or whatever. So if you can use this to your advantage, you can use it to your advantage. So now you, Junker, you say, is it better? Does it give everyone a better position or effect when they do their thing?
Effect.
Okay, awesome. There you go. So if you can take advantage of this, then better effect. So what you guys do?
There's 2 guys left.
One has been unofficially granted life.
Our goddess is ferocious, not truthful.
There is that.
Well, there was a guy that took a cut at
Very much so.
him. So yeah, I'm going to time for him to meet Mace. I'll be skirmishing him. I'll be like darting in and out of the smoke.
Okay. So you're looking for a better effect on that. All right.
Yes.
All right. So let's see here.
But one man.
Yeah. All right. So let's call this.
I'm going to assist on this.
Oh, nice. Go ahead.
By drawing my own blade against this guy and trying to pretend like I'm going to fight him, as I know that my friend is going to cave his head in.
Nice. All right. Mark your stress.
Yep, I marked my stress on my blade.
Nice. Perfect. All right. So you have an extra die there. Do you want to push yourself or want a devil's bargain?
At this point, I think I'm good. I'm going up against one man. I have an outclass him with a weapon, so that's still giving me a boost. So that's a pretty good effect. I think I'm good with 3.
Okay. Go ahead and make a roll.
So they
It'll be risky. Let's call it gosh. Let's call it risky. Risky and standard effect. Well, I suppose if we'll call it great effect since you have most things going for you.
Could it be extreme effect? Because I have the smoke and I have my fine weapon, and I've had the fact that all of his friends are super dead. He might not be in the greatest of minds for fighting.
Gotcha.
Usually when I saw it used, not to be trifled with, kind of lasted the entire combat.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sure. Let's call it. Well, let's start with great, and let's see how you roll, and let's go from there.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right.
Okay, 6. Yeah. So the last 2 guys, I'll let you do what you want to them.
Yes. All right, and so these guys, they're apart. They've just been attacked by a bunch of operatives right out of the war. Smoke going off, mud is blood, liquids, bits are all over the ground, and then just like a demon from the pits, just Breaker just looms out of the smoke, with his weapon now quite literally dripping all kinds of things you would rather not think about, having caved through multiple men's skulls at this point. And he says to them, "Rip. Oh. No, he'll do that later. This is the price you pay for using my goddess's name in such ways." And he just and then just moves towards them and smashes them in quick as can be. Like they try and block it. It smashes straight through their weapons and into them, and then through them.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, yeah. At this point, you hear the whistle, the blue coat whistle, and the one guy decided that this was requiring some assistance. We need to stop this.
These people are being. This is a slaughter.
Yeah. So you guys.
It's not a bar fight anymore.
Yeah, it's not a bar fight anymore. This is a full out slaughter. So I want you guys to picture this scene. Junker is kind of has the best view of this, but the rest of you guys are kind of in it's like this weird, serene situation where you're surrounded by this smoke that's lisping around you. It's like it's basically cut off the view of everything beyond. You hear the blue coat whistling, you don't see him. You don't even see the bar at this point. You're just surrounded. It's like the only thing that exists is the area between the four of you, or the three of you rather. And then just the last body drops. And again, it's just this real serene, like suddenly it's all done. Everything is fine now. The thing is over, but now it's time to get the hell out of Dodge.
Before we leave, Breaker goes to the first guy, probably passed out at this point.
Likely.
And picks him up and throws him over his shoulder. And then he runs.
All right. So yeah, we'll call that an easy escape. With the smoke, I can't see a reason at this point to require a roll
Right.
for even this. You guys get out there.
I'm assuming the stone is not gushing water anymore. We're not going to be leaving wet trails.
That would be amusing. I'll say
Fall's
that
always kind of foggy, so it's
Yeah.
always probably wet.
yeah, if you put it in your
Okay.
pants, it'll look like you
Yeah.
wet your pants, but I don't think you'll be leaving a big come to our lair.
Yeah. Well, Junker will like climb out the window, climb down the side of the building, and jump down and follow after them.
Nice.
And we take our usual circuitous series of routes and cutoffs and various routes to get to the hideout secretly.
Awesome. All right. So
with the guy who threw shoulder, I assume you have interrogation plans for him.
Oh yes.
all right,
There
that'll
are
be
plans for this man.
that'll be in the free play part of the program.
Okay, all right.
Fish, as you're kind of leaving, you do feel a tug at your sleeve. And it's as you kind of turn back, you probably still have your blade in your hand. Your blade in the dark. And it's the pub proprietor. He's like he just looks at you and he's like, don't want to see you around here no more, but thanks for getting rid of them. They almost cost me my business.
You did go a bit overboard. Ah well.
What does Fish do or say, or if anything?
I'm sorry. Just the first thing I can imagine is turning around and slicing the guy's armpit. I don't think that's really what he's doing. I don't think Fish is real talkative in these situations. He's just going to turn around and nod at the guy. Keep going.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so you guys get out of there. What do you call it? On the way back, I'll just say that like Junker kind of turns a couple heads as she's she has her full-sized rifle, probably trying to disguise this walking stick as they're going, but yeah. So she does get a couple looks, but otherwise no, this is Crow's Foot. You guys are slowly passing into your own territory via gondola probably.
She'll try to like conceal it under her cloak.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. As best she can. Cool. Did she use her grapple to get down from the thing, like Batman style?
No, I think she just like climbed down the side of the building.
Cool. All right. So let's do this. We'll do downtime first, and then free play. We only have like 8 minutes left, so let's see where we can get. Yeah, we kind of got behind from last session, so eventually we're going to catch up, and maybe have like
we'll catch up eventually.
A full cycle eventually. Yes,
but
let's do this. Yeah, definitely. Let's do this. So, payoff. I'm going to say that this was a big score, in the sense that You basically took out some blasphemers, people who were, destroying the name of your god, and you got a freaking artifact that nobody thought was, in existence anymore, or lost at the very best. So that's 8 coin. So why don't each of you, assuming you guys want to divide it up equally, each take 2 coin.
Okay.
For this, I'm gonna give you guys 2 more rep for your crew. Let's see. I'm just trying to see what's here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, rep 2 is good for this. All right. So you got your payoff. Heat. I'm gonna say this was loud and chaotic. You like again? However, it was like brief. I'm still gonna say I think loud. I think the loud and chaotic level is fair for this. What do you guys think? As
Oh,
opposed
yeah.
to
Well,
contained or
and also, by the time the blue coat paid attention, we were enveloped in fog, so I think that would mitigate some of the heat that could be directed at us.
Well, because I'd say, well, because we were kind of, I don't know, I was kind of shouting at the top of his lungs about the goddess. So.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
think
Oh.
I think this is loud and
Not gonna
chaotic.
take 2 and
You
2
do
to,
get
okay.
piece
All
this
right,
back
yeah.
to the
Yeah.
cult.
gotcha. All right, so let's call that 4 heat to start.
and then it was +1, Scott, because you
+1 for the
established that as part of the setup.
yep. So 5. And let's see, you're not at war. This was not hostile turf to you. A killing was involved.
Yep.
All right, so that's 8. 5, no, 5,
That'd be
7.
6. Oh, 7.
Yeah, 7. It's 7 heat. All right, so let's see where you guys are at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay,
So you guys
not
are
wanted yet.
You're not wanted yet, but you're just about there. All right, so we're there. Let's see here. Entanglements. So 6 plus heat. Let's see here. So who wants to do the fortune roll for entanglements?
I'll do it. I kind of did cause most of the heat by screaming
Sure,
about me
go for
by
it.
acting like a crazy man.
All right. All right. Let's see here. So let's see. So here's entanglements. Your scoundrels and cruel didn't spring into existence overnight. You have complex history of favors, commitments, debts, etc. Reflect this after each score. You roll dice to find out which entanglement comes a calling. An entanglement might be a rival crew looking to throw their weight around and demand some coin. Investigator. After payoff and heat are determined, the GM determines an entanglement for the crew. Using the list below, find the column where that matches the crew's current heat level. And then roll number of dice equal to their wanted level, which you are not. If wanted level is 0, roll 2 dice and select the lowest.
Oh.
So go ahead and just do.
We'll hope for no criticals.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
So 2. Flipped or an interrogation. So given that, that you kind of caused this, I'm gonna say at some point, basically you're kind of taken aside and interrogated. You're basically at, given the riot act, you're threatened a bit. I'm not going to call for any damage on this one, but basically, you're seen to have basically been interrogated by the local bluecoats.
And was that like specifically like a specific person or all of us?
Yeah, that's Breaker.
Okay.
Specifically Breaker, because he's the one. Again, I think it's logical. He's the one that did the most obvious
but it was
stuff.
also like Peacock also stands out too in this.
Sure,
know, as like the person who instigated it.
Fair. Does Peacock want to take the place of him as in like an interrogation?
Break would fight him for this honor.
Oh my God.
But I understand why, because it's like, yeah, Peacock called him out, but I think the Blue Coats would be less concerned about the guy who was using words and more about the guy who was using a giant metal bat to kill like 3
Yeah.
people.
I mean, sure, if you want to go, Peacock just kind of just shrugged his shoulders, like, I have the least to lose here. I'm guilty of the least crime. After all I did was lead them into an ambush.
Gotcha. Well, I will decide for you. I'll say Peacock.
Okay.
In this case, it's basically I get to choose the who gets flipped,
Yeah.
etc. So let's say Peacock. They basically take you into the back of a bar. You're kind of consorting with one of your buddies. You get taken to the back of the bar, and they slap you around a bit. You're kind of like a milk toast looking person to them. So whatever they do, you show just a bit of fear, and they're happy. And then they kind of take a couple coins out of your pocket and toss you out of the bar and go about their business.
Okay.
And at this point, the bartender is going to be saying, "Hey, man, they helped me out."
Can I get some coin? All right.
Yeah, if you can resist them taking the coin, though.
Well, I'm not actually taking actual coin. This is.
Oh yeah, I thought you.
No.
I thought you actually took 2 coins.
No.
Took some small change.
Yeah, he's basically taking what he had on his person, that kind of thing. I'm not.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to that is certainly something that can happen that I can
Actually,
visit upon you.
If you do read interrogation,
Mhm.
it is you either pay them 3 coin or they beat you up level 2 harm.
And you tell them what they want to know.
Oh, I see.
So
Gotcha.
I am going to take the harm, but I'm going to resist the interrogation itself.
Okay.
So I will take beaten up by blue coats.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then
yeah, you can't resist the beat up. That's right. I remember reading about that. They just keep going until you are beaten.
Well, you can say you can resist each of them separately.
Oh, okay. I remember that's a different one. That's for wanted level based.
So I want to use resolve to resist the interrogation itself.
Fair enough.
By basically telling them information that I make up versus exactly what they want to know.
All right, that works
so
for
me. Click on resolve, right?
Let's see here. Yeah. Click on resolve to resist the effect. Exactly. Actually, is there
necessarily getting a bonus die?
Let's see here.
I can't think of what to get bonus die for, so
that's fair. And definitely no assists or anything. So let's see here. So resist the 6 stress minus the highest die, so you take 3 stress.
So if I fill up the thing, it's okay. It's just if I go over.
If you go over, yes, then you're in the trauma.
Good. I'm just full.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh no, no! It's if you fill it up, you get a trauma.
I?
That's the rule.
That's fine.
Oh, is it actually if he gets exactly that?
They changed it in the newer games, but yeah, if you fill up your stress bar, you get a trauma.
Okay. All right.
So you get all 9 stress. You gain a trauma 9 or over.
Gotcha. Now, trauma isn't as horrible as you think it is in this game. It's a lot of flavor. It's the ability to try something new with your character.
Gives me an option to get more experience points.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can use it
also
to
clear the
complicate
stress,
things.
right?
Yes, you do.
Gain trauma, clear stress.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Cool. And just pick which trauma you want. So I don't want to
figure that out.
Yeah, I don't want us to go over too much right now. We're over our time, but we've all learned a lot. Hopefully, we had some fun. I'm desperately trying to get you guys all some spotlight time. I'm just trying to figure out my rhythm here to do that. So if you're feeling neglected, let me know, and I will figure out a way to not let that happen. But I'm trying to kind of spread things out the best I can, so that everyone feels like A, they got to participate, and B, they contributed to the score and everything else here. So if you're not, let me know. Ooh. Cool. Oh, Wooden Monkey God, thank you for the follow. Very much. So yeah, you caught us on the way out here. But yeah, anyway, so we'll we'll continue next time with downtime activities. And again, we're getting a little better at this, so eventually we're going to catch up, and then we'll do basically, score, downtime, and free play, and then in one full session. So we're just catching up. So next time we'll start with downtime activities. So start thinking about that. We can talk about it on Discord if you'd like. Otherwise, then we'll call the game for now. So let me introduce my players just before we head out. Over here we have Neocree.
Hello.
Yes. We have Dr.
Thank you,
Arculari up here. Yeah, thank you. Dr. Arculari here. We have Cassie Mouse.
Hello.
And we have the infamous Steve
Goodbye.
up here. And also, I just wanted to bring up Dr. Arculari. Has his own stream, so check him out when you can. There's a cool banner. But anyway, yeah. So this has been Scott's Case Files. If you're watching on Twitch, all the stuff is below. You've Wooden Monkey God you followed, so you may want to check out the Discord and Twitter and all that stuff. And links below if you're watching from the Twitch, my Twitch channel. Otherwise, we'll be here again for the next game next Thursday, but I also have streams on Tuesdays and Sundays. Check the schedule. Anyway, thank you all for coming, watching Scott's Case Files, and my awesome troupe of characters here. Hats off to them. We're getting there. We're learning the game. We're figuring it out. I hope we're having fun, and we'll discuss all this goodies on Discord, etc. All right, let's get out of here. Have a great night. Thank you guys for coming. I really, really appreciate all you guys do, and you're awesome. So don't forget that.
Okay. All right. See you, everybody.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Yeah. Bye for now.